I'm David Scandura.
I'm Justus Burkett.
And today we're here to find out, is Alien 3 the greatest movie ever made?
This accident with Murphy's. What happens when one of these dumb sons of bitches walks around with a heart on?
I'm a murderer and rapist of women.
That is a thing Charles...
It's a great way to open the show.
It's a thing Charles S. Dutton says in this movie.
No one clip that out of context.
Yeah. Then he's... Right. That could be very bad for you. Fucking woke liberal podcaster admits to fucking heinous crimes against humanity. Yeah, Charles, that's the thing Charles S. Dutton says in this movie, and then he's sort of like the secondary hero of the movie.
He's like a good guy.
He is a good guy. He's reformed. This movie
Yes.
believes in it's anti-death penalty, and it believes that no matter what you've done in your life, there's hope for you. You can be reformed. You can find community. I think that that's a real thing that this movie actually believes.
It's also just nuts that he was able to deliver that line.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
That's there are not many, I would say, memorable lines from Alien 3 that have entered pop culture the way that the first two films have.
Sure, there's not like one-liners in this movie in the same way that there are in James Cameron's Aliens.
Yeah, or even just like the dialogue from the first Alien, which is pretty iconic at this point.
Yeah.
There's
a few lines in here. I feel like there's a few deliveries that stick with me.
Yes.
Where like Sigourney Weaver says "you're fucked" to the prison superintendent guy, and he goes, "No, you're fucked."
Yes, because this script loves the word fuck.
I just love the way that guy says that. A lot of that guy's deliveries, I don't know the actor's name because I didn't really... He was a guy where I'm like, I should recognize this guy from other places, but I couldn't place him really. But he's like, the prison superintendent guy. One of his other deliveries that sticks with me is like at the very beginning of the movie, basically when that character is first introduced and he's talking to all the prisoners about how like, all right, there's a lady here, everybody calm down. He at the end of one of his lines, he says ASAP, and he just he enunciates it so cuntily.
Yeah.
That it really stuck with me.
The lines that stick with me most in this movie are I'm a murderer and rapist of women.
Yeah.
And also when Ripley goes, they think we're crud.
I like that. I like when she says they think we're crud. They don't care about any of your friends that have died.
It's crud is just a funny. It's funny that she chose the word crud.
Yeah.
And then later in that sentence she says fuck again, and it's like, okay. Crud is just an interesting choice.
I like crud because crud is like evocative of like, that's like some stuff on the bottom of your shoe. Like that's crud. That's like what's in your garbage disposal that you got to clean out.
I feel like I always use crud and crap. Well, crap definitely is like the nice way to say shit when you're a kid.
Dookie. But I feel like crud is like non-dookie gross material. Like crud is like something unidentifiable. But that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, I just think I think I used crud as a substitute for crap when I was a kid a lot, and that's where I came from.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about Alien 3.
Yeah.
Today, David Fincher's Alien 3.
David Fincher's Alien Cube.
or should I say 20th Century Fox's Alien 3.
With, passes taken by Rennie Harlan and some other folks, and then ended up in the lap of a 27-year-old, fresh-eyed, bushy-tailed David Fincher.
Yeah, the script landed in his lap, and then someone stuck a gun to his head.
Yeah.
Actually, I really like how he doesn't talk about this movie in interviews a lot.
No, he doesn't like it.
He's disowned it. We'll get into that.
He's unhappy with the film.
But he did describe the experience as being ritualistically sodomized for 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is maybe one of my favorite ways that I've heard a director talk about a work that they've disowned, behind David Lynch talking about Dune, where he says, it was a nightmare. It was like a nightmare.
Yeah. Ritualistically sodomized is evocative language.
Yeah.
David Fincher, a guy kind of full of, you can quote that guy saying shit like that a lot. He's a funny guy. He's a quippy guy, I feel like in interviews, there's always a lot of good sound bites
Yeah.
of him
Yeah.
talking shit, you know?
Yeah. Before we talk about the movie, how are you doing? Do you have anything to recommend?
I'm doing pretty good. Nothing really to report, and I don't think I have anything specific to recommend. No. I mean, yeah. So it's short one for me this week, I guess.
Cool.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've had some, ups and downs recently. Work has been kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes walking in the morning, I'm just kind of thrown into it, and it's a little chaotic. My supervisor has been out a lot, and it seems like whenever one of the other supervisors is covering for him, because they all kind of wear different hats and they support each other and take on different responsibilities, it's just sort of chaos. And even on slow days, it can be chaotic because they're trying to find something for you to do, and then while they're running around looking for something for you to do or looking for a vehicle for you, someone else is going to come by and be like, hey, why are you standing here doing nothing? And I'm like, I showed up, I looked at the whiteboard next to my name, and there was nothing written there. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. And I really don't like that, I'm discovering.
Yeah.
I think like the first hour in the actual office sometimes can be kind of stressful. But then when I get out and I actually do my job, which is delivering the mail, generally, then I'm okay again. And even if it's like, the what I'm doing for that day might be a little bit confusing for the first few streets, but then you kind of get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And you fall into a rhythm. And so like that hasn't been fun, like not knowing what I'm going to walk into every morning recently. And they're getting a lot of pressure from the district in terms of certain policies and stuff like that too. So, being a new person and not really knowing all of that stuff, it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
But today was good.
Yes. And as far as
yesterday was good.
Yeah. As far as a pure numbers game, like the first hour of your day not being so hot, but then the rest of the day being fine, it's like, well, that's what, like fucking, like 80% of your day is totally fine or whatever. Like,
yeah.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things.
And I don't think that I have anything to recommend really. I'm getting a call.
Shit. Okay.
Hello?
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, he's here too.
Yeah, I think I know who this might be.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we'll be right over. Justus, we have to pause the recording. HR wants to have a meeting with us right away. Hello. Thank you both for coming. Please sit down. These chairs are quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, is the thing that looks like a spiked butt plug supposed to like go up my anus when I sit in this chair?
Just take a deep breath and don't worry about it too much.
All right.
Clench your fists. Yes, they are made out of bones. Anyway, hello. I'll cut to the chase. Management has reviewed your files, and they would just like us to have a little discussion to clear the air.
Yeah.
As you know, Mr. Lucas and Mr. Watto are on a business trip / honeymoon right now, so they just would like me to discuss your future with the company.
Yeah, I heard that they were doing one of those like celebrity space flights actually, like Katy Perry went on. I heard they were doing one of those together. Sounds pretty romantic.
Yes,
Yeah.
They did take a lot of money to do one of the SpaceX flights with Elon.
I did have to talk them out of taking a submarine to the Titanic. Because we know how that ended.
Yeah, it didn't go pretty well last time for a couple other CEOs.
Yeah.
All right, Justus. You recently left your job working for an evil intergalactic tech corporation?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And David, you left your job working for an evil intergalactic medical corporation. Yes. Yes.
Just to be clear, their intergalactic operations were not anything that I was directly involved with. I was more on the planetary side of things.
Yeah, we were both representing the Earth offices.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they did things over there, but your lack of collaboration and work ethic has been noted by management.
Oh, boy.
We need you to...
I'm getting deja vu from my last job.
We need you to step up and be team players.
Uh-huh.
Here we believe in synergy and
shit.
not just the synergy of organic and mechanical.
Right. Although primarily that, based on the decor in your office and what appears to be a cybernetic hamster running in a wheel on the desk of your in your office.
Justus, this conversation's not about me.
Okay, all right.
But okay, HR, since our managing assistant ET left, like we've had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We're both busy with our personal lives.
Yeah.
It's been hard to keep things going.
Yeah.
But your social media posting has become almost non-existent.
Well, that's because neither of us like doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Also, we're not getting paid to do this podcast. This is a free venture.
All I'm saying is your lack of enthusiasm regarding your work has been noted by your team members.
All right.
This podcast isn't just a job, it's a family. Like a hive mind, a collection of like-minded individuals joining as one consciousness for the advancement and evolution of humanity into a new, more efficient, yet cosmically horrific organism.
Oh, man, so many flashbacks from my old job. All of this is so familiar.
There's like a lawsuit going on with my old job right now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I left because it was such a toxic work environment. I didn't expect that here. Speaking of toxic work environments, Justus, I wanted to discuss that sexual harassment complaint that was filed last July. It says here that David did an obnoxious Sean Connery accent and sexually propositioned you against your will.
Yes, although to be clear, my understanding is not that it was David doing an accent, but in fact that the spirit of Sean Connery was possessing David's body from hell, during which time David's spirit was sent down to hell.
Yeah, I mean, like...
So I think my complaint is against Sean Connery, the ghost... the hell-trapped ghost of Sean Connery, not against David specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just speak for myself, to my understanding, I was possessed by the ghost, and I took his place in hell. And while the incidents occurred, I was completely preoccupied because I was being ass raped by the devil.
He was gargling lava cum as previously mentioned.
Yeah.
We this is all on mic.
Lucifer was 12 inches deep in my precious little butthole. Right. So
much like this chair is in me right now.
So I deeply regret anything that came out of my mouth to Justus that was untoward or unwarranted, but it wasn't my responsibility.
No, yeah, I think that's really on Sean.
Well, it's a violation of our no tolerance policy for sexual harassment as it is. I'm sorry, that's just a little hard to take, considering the chairs that we're sitting in.
Yes.
And the face
I
huggers.
do feel like I am being violated sexually by sitting in your office right now.
The face huggers and the alien goo all over the place. Like, I don't feel comfortable working in an environment where a face hugger could jump onto me and stick its proboscis down my throat
There
at
is
any
a
moment.
giant sculpture of an obsidian penis behind your head right now.
It's a little hard to be lectured about sexual harassment by the guy who invented the evil space penis monster.
You literally made a rape monster.
As I previously stated, this meeting is not about me. If you have a complaint, you can escalate it to Mr. Lucas and Mr. Watto when they get back.
He did say this.
And I understand that the face huggers and eggs everywhere, they're not OSHA compliant. We are working on handling the situation. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I will just need your signature and a DNA sample saying that we had this meeting and you are agreeing to the policies we discussed.
Okay, I think you can probably just get the DNA sample off of the chair once I stand up.
Yeah, like what are you doing with the DNA sample? I'm sorry, that's above your pay grade. Okay, goodbye. Have a great day, both
right.
of you.
Goodbye, HR. I never knew his initials stood for human resources.
Yeah.
Human resources Giger.
Yeah.
It turns out that we didn't even know that when we offered him that job. We were like, hey, do you want to do human resources for the podcast since like you're around so much anyway?
It's a total coincidence.
Yeah. And then he was like, turns out my name is Human Resources Geiger. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Alien 3.
Yes. Alien cubed.
Alien 3.
Alien times alien times alien. Technically, 1 times alien times alien times alien, because anything cubed is 1 times the thing 3 times. That's why anything to the power of 0 is 1. Alien 3.
I just sort of blacked out for a second there because I haven't thought about math in a long time.
Yeah.
David Fincher's Alien 3.
Yes. Film from 20th Century Fox about how an evil corporation screws over people and like makes them full of despair and have no hope.
Treats them as disposable workers.
It is really fun. It's really funny that at the end of the movie, Weyland-Yutani shows up and the movie just fully becomes a meta commentary on itself in the last scene.
I was watching the behind the scenes documentary, which is quite good. It's like the 3-hour documentary on the Blu-ray or whatever. And some of those guys from 20th Century Fox, David Giler, John Landau, who recently passed away, the way that they talk about how things went down on Alien 3, I was like, oh, you sound like Carter Burke from Aliens. Like you do sound corporate, cold, and evil to a certain extent.
Yeah. Well, there's like quotes from the guys who were from some of the production guys. I don't know if these are in that documentary, but one of the guys was saying like before they even had a script, he was like, it's Alien 3. We could film somebody pissing on a wall and it would make $30 million. Like that's the mentality that they went into this with, which I feel like is that's a bad sign when the suits are basically like, we don't have to care about the quality of the finished product or what it is at all.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, we have 2 of the biggest hits in the genre backing this thing up, and people are going to come see this and it's going to make money no matter what it is, and it's like, no, that's the wrong. You got to actually like approach it with some like care instead of just being like big dick swinging like we have the biggest property in the world.
Right.
It's going to make money even if we don't give a shit about it at all.
Right. And they admitted like hiring Fincher, who had previously directed commercials and music videos.
Right. It was his first feature film.
His first feature had a strong visual eye. They hired him kind of with a similar mindset to why they hired Ridley Scott, who had come from commercials. He had had 1 feature film previously.
Yeah.
But it was like nothing was riding on the first Alien.
Yeah. And
now everything's riding on Alien 3 because a studio has to make money. Alien has grown beyond just a simple little film about space truckers fighting a giant penis monster.
Right.
Now it's a huge property.
Right. Now after the giant James Cameron box office smash sequel, this thing is like fucking Hollywood gold.
Yeah.
Like,
so they set up Fincher to fail and stick a gun to his head,
Yeah, it is interesting because it's like I do feel that like Fincher was sort of making this movie under duress to some extent. It is also interesting that you can tell because when you say that a director made a movie with a gun to their head, sort of what I always expect from that situation is a movie where it feels like the director doesn't care, right? And is just doing it because they have to. They're doing it because they're contractually obligated. The interesting thing about this movie is that I would argue you can feel how much Fincher cares, and I think for 20th Century Fox, Fincher cared too much.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, he's quote unquote making this movie with a gun to his head, but he's also kind of like holding a gun to Fox's head at the same, like it's a Mexican standoff.
Fincher has admitted that he came into this thing a little too hot.
Yeah,
and like,
well, he's 27 years old. You know, he's king shit.
Right.
Studios are offering him, a big franchise movie. He's been making music videos for some of the biggest musical artists in the world, and he's super young and super idealistic, and he feels like he's got the world, at his fingertips. So I can understand him coming in with some big ideas and really ambitious into this thing. You know?
Yeah. But he's also like set up to fail too.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like the making of this movie is very storied, and I did take a lot of notes and stuff like that. And we'll get into some of that, but this is your first time watching Alien 3.
Yes, I so far am just watching the Alien movies in order because I saw Alien 1 first, and then I saw Aliens, and now this is my first time having seen this. Now I've seen Aliens, I think 3 times, and the first Alien more than that. And I've seen this one now twice because ahead of this record, I watched the theatrical cut last night, and I watched the assembly cut today. So I've seen now both cuts of Alien 3. And yeah, first time with it. Still very much kind of feel marinated in it because it's like the theatrical cut's 2 hours and then the assembly cut is 2.5. So neither of them are short movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, I mean, Aliens is longer. Like, the director's cut of Aliens is like 240 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so none of these movies are short. None of these first 3.
Have you seen the Aliens versus Predator movies?
No. The only Alien movies I have seen are now the first 3.
Yeah, because we watched Aliens together for the first time.
For me, yeah. Yeah, I had not seen Aliens before you and I watched it together. Which I know a lot of people grew up with that one. That just was not it just wasn't one of mine.
Okay.
So I coming to this as well as to this franchise as a whole, I feel like kind of later in life than some people, you know? Still haven't seen any of the other ones. I'm still very interested in watching all of them. Like, so far, nothing in the Alien series has made me be like, I don't know if I'm really, because I've heard interesting things about Prometheus and Covenant and stuff. And the thing that I really like, and was also true of going into this movie, is I know just like through cultural osmosis, through like film conversations that I've seen on like Twitter and stuff back when I was on there, before it was the Nazi website, I have absorbed like a few little plot details of Alien movies that I haven't seen. And that was true of this one too before I watched it. But I don't feel like I know all of what happens in any of the Alien movies that I haven't seen. And I sure as shit did not know what happened in this movie before watching it, which I think was great. I'm really, really happy that I went into this movie basically blind.
Yeah.
What I knew about Alien 3 was that it was directed by David Fincher and that he was not happy with it. I knew that. I knew that it was set on a prison planet. I did know that. And I knew that there was religious stuff in this one. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else about.
Well, presumably you knew that an alien burst out of something's chest at some point.
Well, certainly. It would almost have to. Right, I knew there were xenomorphs in it. Yeah, we're saying xenomorph in the assembly cut, but we never say it in the theatrical cut, which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know that we say. I don't know that they say xenomorph in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, they say it in Aliens. That's the first time it's
first
time we ever get
it.
James Cameron invented xenomorph as a term. But yeah, in this one we're only saying it in the assembly cut. Otherwise, it's just the dragon or the beast or the alien or whatever. Yeah. I do like that one guy's calling it a dragon. It was a dragon.
Yeah, you get more of that in the assembly cut.
Yeah, Gallic.
Nice. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this film.
Yeah.
Because it's
it's
a divisive film.
Yes.
It's had some reappreciation in recent years. The assembly cut's part of that. There are also people who are like, they grew up watching it and they love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked on our Alien and Aliens episode. Is this a perfect movie?
No.
Okay, cool. We're starting off. At least we can at least agree on that so far.
No. That would be insane. Like, this movie, I feel like there is no sane take about this movie that does not acknowledge that it is deeply flawed. I think that there are very obvious problems with this movie that I don't even think people who like this movie tend to argue that it has, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was perusing like Letterboxd and some Reddit threads and stuff after watching the theatrical cut, but before watching the assembly cut, because I was just sort of interested in people's opinions on this movie now that I had seen it. And even people who like it seem to be like, yes, obviously this is a case where they were like, they started filming with an unfinished script, and the unfinished script they had was the product of like multiple different people taking passes at a poorly shaped story, right? So sometimes the movie feels pretty directionless, and it's pretty obviously a direct result of that. Right. Also, you can just feel the creative tension happening between David Fincher and the non-Fincher elements present in the movie, and also between what he wants and what the studio is giving him in terms of like budget and stuff. All of that, I feel like even people who like this movie are like, yeah, obviously those are problems.
It's really it's really palpable and apparent watching it that something was going on when they made this movie. Something was fucked up behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything about it, I feel like you can, if you had seen the previous movies and somehow watched Alien 3 with no knowledge of its the story of how it was made.
Yeah.
It's palpable from the first few minutes that something's off.
It is kind of funny too, because it's like they started shooting this movie with an unfinished script, and once I knew that, and then I watched the assembly cut, I was like, you can kind of tell about when they ran out of written material.
Yep.
And then just started winging it. I think it's around when Charles Dance gets killed, because after Charles Dance gets killed, the movie's kind of like, and we're gonna Scooby-Doo trap the alien, I guess. You know? And it's like, this just feels like it was like David Fincher walked on set and was like, okay, we have no script for what we're shooting today. We're gonna do this shit, I guess.
We have no script, but we do have a hallway.
Right. Oh boy, do we have a hallway. Yeah. But like, so that shit, I feel like really is backloaded for me in terms of the stuff where it's like, this movie doesn't know where it's going. The front half of this thing has some might say too many ideas. The back half kind of runs out of ideas, and the front half is packed full of so many ideas. And to be clear, some of the ideas that are explored in the first half of the movie, I kind of like. There is stuff that is interesting in this movie, and I especially think the first like hour of the theatrical cut and like hour and change of the assembly cut is like, if it was leading to something that like paid off that first half, then I think that this would be a pretty great movie. And unfortunately, that was not possible under the conditions that this movie was made, right?
Yeah. Okay, so now that you got your cards on the table,
right,
I want to talk about Alien 3 for a bit, my history with this thing.
Yeah.
So, as I stated on our Alien episode, the first Alien was one of the first R-rated movies that I ever saw. And one of the first Alien movies that I saw. It's a toss-up between the first Alien, Alien versus Predator, and Alien 3 as far as which one I saw first. I think I had probably seen, I think it may have been Alien versus Predator, which is PG-13.
Yeah.
Then I saw Alien, then I saw Alien 3. Alien versus Predator and Alien 3 were movies that I watched at my childhood friend Sam's house.
Yes.
in his treehouse in the middle of 95-degree
Yes.
summer temperatures
This is
at night
Deep
in Phoenix.
TGMEM lore. We have referenced Sam's Treehouse before. This does sound like the most insane and delirium-inducing environment to watch a film. Is just like in a boiling treehouse in a Phoenix backyard.
Then we would stay up late and throw on Comedy Central and watch the Girls Gone Wild infomercial. Like the censored Girls Gone Wild infomercial.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is just some peak middle
Just staying
school
up to
boy
watch
shit.
blurry tits. So
Yeah.
he threw on Alien 3 on VHS.
Yeah.
And I had not seen Aliens at that point, other than probably catching the end on TV, because I always seem to catch movies at their end on TV.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where I was like, okay, I'm 12 and my brain's not fully developed, but I don't think this movie's good. I don't think this movie's very good. And I think there's some problems with this one.
Uh-huh.
And Alien 3 has historically been a tough nut for me to crack.
Yeah.
Past Alien days, I have done, Alien marathons around that time.
Yeah.
And then I get to 3, and then I get really tired, and I'm like, oh, man. And then maybe I watch Resurrection after it, and it's always like a toss-up between which one I like more on that particular day, Alien 3 or Resurrection, because neither of them are good movies. But there are the fans of this movie.
Yeah.
And like you said, there are interesting things about this movie. There are things to like. I think there are some genuinely good things about this movie.
Yeah.
But it's always been on the weaker end of these films for me. And last night I watched the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
And then I watched the assembly cut immediately afterward.
This is insane. I at least gave myself like a fucking 10-hour buffer
And, like-
between the two. It is crazy to just put on the theatrical cut and right after the credits roll, just start it and right back over again. There are so few movies that I would do that with, and Alien 3 is like so far down.
I was
the
like,
list.
I had to find a way to squeeze it in because I wanted to watch both.
Yeah.
Were you planning on watching the assembly cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. I did not even take a poop.
That's crazy.
In between, because I'm tracking my poops.
Yes,
on
he
an
had
app.
to look at his poop tracking
My
app
poop
to
app.
see if he had shat between his two viewings of Alien 3.
Yeah. I rolled credits on that bitch, and I probably walked around the house for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, all right, I guess I'm watching this movie again.
That is a perfect scenario to argue for why smoking cigarettes is a good thing. Is the perfect time for a cigarette? The perfect time for a cigarette is after you watch the theatrical cut of Alien 3 and before you put on Alien 3 assembly cut.
Just being like,
Just go outside
boy.
and smoke a cigarette.
we're gonna have to take that journey again.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is insane that I did that. I am like, I was within the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh fuck, why did I do this? And then we sort of settled into the assembly cut a bit, and I was like, this is going better than I remember. Because I've only seen the assembly cut once.
Yeah.
And I think, in terms of Alien cuts, I do think the director's cut or the special edition cut, whatever it's called, of Aliens is the best version of Aliens that there is to watch.
Yeah.
There are glaring omissions from the theatrical cut that the special edition corrects. I think it's a better experience.
Yeah, having watched both, I maybe am a little less gung-ho than you on that. I don't remember if I talked about this or if I had even seen both versions when we recorded our episode on Aliens. I straight up don't remember. But I think I do agree with you. I think Aliens director's cut adds some things that are pretty indispensable, but also I do kind of like the tighter, leaner experience of the theatrical cut as well. So for me, it's like the director's cut like just edges it out by a hair.
Yeah, I think the theatrical cut is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty great even. But what I would say is like, largely, I think they're similar experiences.
Right, totally.
The mother stuff works in the original cut of Aliens. Even if it's not textual that she lost her daughter in that one, you see her adopting Newt as a surrogate daughter.
You still get it.
It all works. You still get it. However, I don't know that Alien 3 to the Alien 3 assembly cut is like a night and day difference. But I do think the assembly cut adds enough that it is a different overall experience and pretty substantially changes the film.
I think the main thing for me, I do agree with that. I think the main thing for me is that the assembly cut makes it much more thematically coherent.
Yes.
Because, like, I was sort of, honestly, based on the film's reputation, I knew this one was divisive, and I knew that Fincher didn't like it. I was sort of, like, going into this one being like, oh, is this going to be, like, a big mess? And then I watched the theatrical cut and I was like, plot wise, this is actually very legible. Like I did not find the theatrical cut confusing or like hard to parse. It was just thin, kind of, right? And then I watched the assembly cut and I was like, oh, well, this doesn't really gain much in plot, but it does really enrich the themes, especially by kind of just like filling out the corners of the world with like all these little added moments between the prisoners, which I think is like one of the best things about the assembly cut is that it like gives you more, it invests you more in Fury 161. And so then everything that Fury 161 represents, which is like, private prisons and the prison system in general, and also like faith and hope and despair and all these ideas that this movie is trying to play with. I feel like the little quiet moments between the prisoners that are added are like some of the best stuff for communicating those ideas that are sort of like hinted at but largely like left unexplored in the theatrical cut.
So a little bit more about the background on this, which we'll pepper in throughout the episode. Ridley Scott and James Cameron were considered for Alien 3. Rennie Harlan was on board for a while. His concept was doing the Alien homeworld.
Yeah.
And then Fox was like, we don't have the fucking budget for that. And there were some other scripts that were thrown around. There was a script set on Earth from sci-fi writer William Gibson. There was even a teaser trailer that was released stating like, on Earth everyone will hear you scream, with an egg opening, kind of like the original Alien teaser trailer.
Yeah, which is very funny that that's just a teaser trailer for a movie that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it just never happened.
Like, they just put the teaser trailer out being like, this will be the movie, right? And then that wasn't it at all.
Yeah. and like both of those, the homeworld or the aliens come to Earth, seem like the logical next step.
Sure.
Right. And I think that was the thing, is like they were trying to figure out, where do we take this thing after Aliens?
Which is funny because like both of those things seem like the logical next step for this franchise. And other than like that TV show Alien Earth, I feel like neither of those things have actually happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like none of the movies are either of those things.
No,
we're never like going to Alien Planet in anything.
No, I mean, Prometheus and Covenant explore the backstory behind the aliens, but it's not what you think it is if you don't know anything about it. There was also a script about a prison ship, and then Rennie Harlan was just like, okay, it kind of feels like we're just rehashing the same ideas from the last two movies, and I don't want to do that. I want to make crappy movies my own way. I want to make Deep Blue Sea and Three Strangers sequels that no one asked for.
Right, and one of the Die Hard movies.
He did Die Hard 2.
Die 2, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the guy to bring in, if that film title has a number after it. Bring in Rennie Harlan.
He will do your sequel.
And then Vincent Ward came on, and he wrote a very ambitious, different, weird, out there script. I don't know if you know about this. He envisioned like he called it a wooden planet that was populated with a bunch of monks who were adverse to technology, and it had this like core that generated this atmosphere around it.
Oh,
like,
I'm
this
so
wooden
into
space
this.
station. And
I think someone should still make this movie.
I think the script is out there.
I think Wooden Planet full of Luddite monks
yeah.
is the best idea for a movie I've ever heard.
Yeah, and the escape pod crashes. They think the alien's the devil.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
You know, like, so...
And they're in a holy war against a xenomorph?
Yeah.
That shit's awesome. And one of the monks probably falls to temptation and becomes like a fucking xenomorph worshiper.
I mean, that's basically
what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I love when that happens in it. I've only seen 3 Alien movies, but in all 3 Alien movies, there is some guy who is like a little bit into the xenomorph. Like obviously in the first one, it's Bilbo Baggins.
Oh man, you just wait.
I know there's more of that.
Just wait for Resurrection because the guy who's really into the xenomorph is named Sigourney Weaver.
Wait, that's his character name?
No.
Oh, what? Oh. Sorry, apparently I'm fucking dumb.
It's another after hours recording, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver's really
Ripley has a thing for the alien.
I love
that.
And to be clear, I don't need or even really want it to be like a sexual thing. I like when it's like a pseudo-religious thing. When it's like they're in awe of this amazing perfect being and they're like they want to like worship it, and I do know that there is more of that stuff in Covenant. That's basically the only thing I know about Covenant is that there's more of that shit in that movie, and I'm like, I gotta get to Covenant because I really love when some guy is just like, what if instead of kill the alien we make it our god? Yeah.
So Vincent Ward's version, the studio comes in, they want a bunch of changes made. He claims that a line producer that he was working with, who he really trusted, was secretly selling him out to Fox phone calls behind his back and stuff like that. So it seems like a really kind of fucked up thing that went down when Vincent Ward was canned.
Yeah.
He does have a story credit on this.
Yeah, because it seems like his monk thing kind of made it in.
There's stuff that trickles down. And
I really wish Wood Planet had made it in, though.
Yeah, and threads that run through.
If Fury 161 was made of wood, this movie would get an additional star from me.
Yeah, but I think it was a budget thing with the sets.
Yeah.
And they had even started. I think they had started building sets for the Ward version when he was taken off and Fincher came on. But the script credits in the movie are for David Giler, Walter Hill, who are producers, and Larry Ferguson. So the producers wrote the script.
Yeah.
And
always
then
a good sign.
when Fincher comes on, production delays for 3 months for the script rewrites that are kind of cannibalized from the Vincent Ward version. And the movie was underfunded, and then it led to it going over budget.
Yeah.
And there were tons of reshoots.
Because David Fincher notoriously loves doing things cheap. He will definitely keep a film under budget. He never spends more money than the studio wants to give him. Famously, a guy who makes cheap movies. Easy to work with if you're a fucking studio head.
But with all the reshoots and stuff, they were reshooting scenes because of Fox changes,
right?
And that. The unfinished script. So that's why there are so many, these two vastly different versions that also just have like similar versions of the same scene.
Right.
One of the big things that they fought over was the end of the movie with Ripley falling into the molten lead or the molten metal.
Yeah.
Whether she should like just sort of fall in, or whether the chest burster jumps out of her chest. Like they went back and forth on that forever, which is why
both
effects look like shit.
Both versions are finished, but also look like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely feel that through a lot of this movie, where it's like, they had lots of options, and that's why in the assembly cut there's like whole scenes that are basically the same scene but different, that are finished because they didn't know which one they were going to put into the theatrical version, it seems like, until shortly before it was released.
Yeah, and the guys at ADI doing the effects, like they built, during those 3 months where they were reworking the script, they spent that time just like trying to find effects to build to keep people employed.
They did like a rod puppet. They did like a big bunraku puppet.
Yeah, they did so many effects that didn't make it into the final film.
Some of it's in the assembly cut, but
yes,
not a lot of it. Yeah.
So I mean, this movie just kind of was just lighting millions of dollars on fire every day.
Right. Yeah. A big old mess behind the scenes. And it also like, it's also, in addition to all of that, a movie that makes very big choices, like very like, choices that you would not expect from a third entry in a beloved genre franchise.
Yes, some good and some bad.
And some of those are not even it seems like those are not even necessarily choices that are made because of the behind the scenes turmoil. It seems like on paper, or maybe like some of Fincher's ideas, were just like let's just lay a fucking sledgehammer on the audience.
Yeah.
And some of that I feels like does come directly from Fincher. Like Fincher's, like I said, you can kind of feel that he cares in this movie. Mm-hmm. You can also really feel his thing, his like Fincher kind of bleak, pessimistic worldview, his kind of ethos already, even though this is his first movie. And I cannot imagine that is all just coincidence and that it was already in the script and stuff. Like he's bringing shit to this.
He did push for this movie to be a little bit meaner and gorier and bleaker.
Yes, and might I say, excellent fucking choice, because one of the things to like about this movie for me is that it is so much nastier than 2 or 1. Right? Because 2 is like, by comparison to the first one, 2 is kind of lighter and more fun, right?
Yeah.
3 is meaner than either of the first 2. And because the first one, it's like sort of a haunted house in space sort of situation. You know, we're being stalked by this killer. And then there's also, obviously, we talked about it in the episode, but there's also all of the psychosexual stuff in that movie as well. 3, though, feels like when the opening credits are happening, the movie is not trying to hide from you that a facehugger has gotten on to Ripley and planted a chestburster in her. Mm-hmm. If you're watching the movie closely when it starts, you can tell that that's what happened. So like later on when she finds out, you kind of have known since the first minute of this movie that that's what was going on. And it immediately instills in you this like sense of hopelessness, where it's like, we are starting this movie where the hero is on a ticking death clock, right? And she doesn't even know. And when she does find out, there's nothing she can do about it.
Yeah. And Fincher, I don't know that was his decision, but he did say that one of his concepts was like, I want the audience to know things are hopeless and bleak from the very beginning.
Yes.
Immediately, we're putting Ripley in hell.
Which I think rocks. I think that is a really, really good idea for a third Alien movie.
So let's talk about one of those ideas for a third Alien movie that happens in the first few minutes.
Yeah.
That people like to cite as one of the unforgivable sins that this movie makes.
Sure.
Which is the decision to kill Hicks and Newt from Aliens.
Yep.
Basically off screen.
Yeah, and mostly Bishop. He has a little last gasp.
Yeah,
but
Lance Henderson got a paycheck.
Oh yeah.
Michael Biehn got a paycheck for his likeness.
Yes.
Because he put when he found out they were making a Hicks puppet.
Yeah.
From one of his his agent or something was at the studio and saw they were building a Hicks puppet.
Yeah. I heard that the paycheck that he got from that was like as big as his Aliens paycheck.
Yeah.
Good for him, honestly.
And then there is a new actress credited for playing Newt for a couple of those scenes, but Carrie Henn does not return for Newt.
Yeah.
I think there had been talks about her coming back for Alien 3 when she was shooting Aliens with Cameron.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hicks and Newt.
Yeah.
Fucking dead from minute one. The last movie was worthless.
Right.
How do you feel about this?
Excellent. Love it.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
I think that this is a great choice. I'm totally down. Because, like, those characters, I cared about them in Aliens, right? By the end of Aliens, I am endeared to both of them. And then the end of that movie happens, and the experience of watching Aliens is not diminished by this movie starting this way. I
don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
And so then, like, this movie starting and its tone immediately being like, we're not having fun anymore. This is a bad time. We're going to be sad. This is bleak. This is heavy. There is no glimmer of light in this movie. I feel like it just killing the beloved characters from the last movie is a great signal of where this movie is trying to go and what it is trying to do and say. And so I think it's really efficient shorthand for setting the tone. And, like, also, it sets up, I think, the most horrifying horror scene that I have so far seen in any Alien movie, which is in this one, which is the autopsy of a 10-year-old girl. I think that is, like, the most hard-to-watch scene in any of the Alien movies that I've seen. And this franchise is a horror franchise, first and foremost. It also dips into action and obviously is planted in the sci-fi world as well. But, like, the primary mode of Alien, the first movie, was horror. And I feel like this is, like, a really horrifying sequence. And it is, like, the difference between, like, late 70s horror and early 90s horror too, where now in the early 90s things are a little grittier, they're a little grimier, we're dealing with real horror a little bit more too. And yeah, it like that whole sequence, like the fucking bone crunching when Charles Dance is, like, sawing her sternum open is, like, so visceral and it's very unpleasant. And I'm like, it's cool that this movie is it's cool that Alien is horrifying again, because Aliens is more of an action movie and isn't really scary. And I love Aliens, but I also like that this movie is like, we are gonna make you squirm in your seat again.
I do think I have to put a fucking giant size asterisk. Now, why is that word always so hard for me?
Asterisk.
Irish
asterisk.
I have to put one of those next to the phrase "alien is horrifying" again.
Yeah,
and we'll come back to that.
Sure. I'm specifically talking about the autopsy scene when I say that. Yeah,
because I would agree with you. So a couple things. This is a question for you because I didn't see the autopsy scene when I watched Alien 3 last night because my Blu-ray is spotless, not nary a scratch on it.
Yeah.
And yet every time I have put in the Aliens 3 Blu-ray, we get to the autopsy scene and it skips for a few seconds. It also skips later in the movie, which I think is Pete Postlewaite's death.
Oh, that's a shame because that's a pretty good one.
This is why standard def DVD is superior to Blu-ray, because I have plenty of DVDs covered with scratches that I am able to watch without a single hiccup.
The scratches honestly just make the DVD run better, I think.
Yeah. So there was the autopsy scene, to my knowledge, was shot with a puppet, with gore. You saw Newt's insides at one point, and then test screenings. Everyone decided that was a little bit too gross, so they cut that from the theatrical cut. So in the versions that you watched, what do you see?
There is even in the theatrical cut, after Charles Dance saws open her sternum and opens the rib cage, there is like a really quick shot,
just on there for like a frame or two.
Yes, yeah, really quick shot of just the chest cavity, and you can see organs inside. I think you see the same thing in the assembly cut. Maybe the shot is a little bit longer, but neither of them are terribly graphic. Like,
okay.
it doesn't.
Because I couldn't remember if the gorier stuff was added back into the assembly cut.
Yeah, I don't think it was, and I think that that's a strong choice. I think it's a strong choice. One of the shots that I love in this movie, and I'm like, thank God a real filmmaker made this mess, because there is stuff to praise about it like this, right? Which is like, when the autopsy starts, Charles Dance starts pulling the sheet off of her, and it gets down to like just below her eyes, and then the camera really quickly cuts away, and you don't see the rest of her face. And then the autopsy is shot in such a way where her face is never in frame at all. So it's like you almost see the face of this dead child, and then the movie is like, that's too much, we're gonna take it away and then shoot around it, which is like both a classy choice, but also it just like the sense of like cold like alienation in that scene, I think, is amplified by the fact that the camera refuses to show you the humanity of this person, you know, and is sort of treating her like an object and stuff. I think it's really effectively shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I caught part of that when the footage skipped ahead on my Blu-ray.
Yeah. And there's like shots of like Charles Dance like putting down the scalpel
right.
in the water, and the water turns all bloody.
And the blood.
And and him putting down the bone saw, and it's all bloody and stuff. So it's just kind of the suggestion of it. Yeah. I think maybe the one shot that is a little bit like over the top to me is like he is wiping off his gloves on like the apron that he's wearing, and it's like a really close-up shot of all this really gooey blood like being wiped off. And I'm like, that maybe is like just a little, maybe a hair too much, but the rest of it I feel like is like really kind of understated and effective. Yeah.
So you're overall positive on the controversial decision.
Yes.
To kill Newton Hicks.
I think kill this kid, absolutely, and kill Michael Biehn. I love Michael Biehn, but I don't need him I don't need either of them in this movie, and this is not a movie in which either of these characters can or should exist. Like, the movie's whole vibe would be thrown off if these characters were present in it. Like, you couldn't make the same movie. And like, some people would say, well, maybe that would be a good thing, right? But I think it's admirable what this movie is trying to do, which is take this franchise to a much darker place. And it would be impossible to do that while also carrying on these characters.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
How do you feel about it?
So it's a thing that I have accepted.
Yeah.
I accept that when I put Alien 3 into my Blu-ray player and press play, that Bishop and Newt are going to be killed, and the whole point of Aliens is basically for naught.
Right.
I don't love it, but I've come to terms with it. And I think to establish that this movie is darker and bleaker, and Ripley is in a more hopeless situation, that she is tired and basically fighting for her last few moments of life with this ticking clock element, with the chest burster inside of her. I think that all makes sense. As far as like the bleakness and the darkness in the rest of the movie, I have more mixed feelings on. But you're right. Hicks and Newt should not be in this movie. Was there a way to maybe have them in some hypothetical Alien 3 and, Hicks sacrifices himself, something?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe. I don't think Alien 3 should end with Ripley, Newt, and Hicks as one big happy family.
Right, yeah.
I think there was an opportunity to do interesting things with these characters, but like, that's, that the time for that was 30 years ago when the movie came out.
Yeah.
Like, I've moved past it.
Yeah.
And I think the way that both the theatrical cut and some of the stuff in the assembly cut that's added, some of the like gorier, there's some gorier shots of the bodies in the EEV.
In the fucking assembly cut, Michael Biehn gets like fucking turned into hamburger.
He looks like a fucking Piss Grave album cover.
Yeah. His skull is like broken into a bunch of pieces. It's wild.
I think the movie does give the character and the audience an opportunity to mourn for them.
Totally.
And have their deaths impact the character's journey throughout the film.
It really feels like the first 40 minutes of the movie is Ripley dealing with Newt's death specifically. It does not feel like the movie glosses over it at all. It feels like it makes it like a really big part of her first act arc, right? Her first act journey.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you had a good, you were enjoying the first half of the movie.
Yes. So even when I was watching the theatrical cut, the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, I'm kind of vibing with this. This is dark. This is interesting. This is weird. I like the introduction to the prison planet as well early on when, the foreman guy is talking about the situation and like Morse, the fucking mouthy asshole guy, is like, oh, there's a woman here. We've taken a vow of celibacy. It's unfair to do this to us. And you kind of get some of the religious stuff cropping up here early, how these guys are all sort of like a key part of their sort of their journey in paying their debt to society, but also really just like atoning for their sins, kind of has been to like basically voluntarily form some sort of a monastery of sorts, we learned that like they could have been transferred to a different prison and they like opted to stay. They like chose to be here in this place that is basically hell. Right. And so I like all of that stuff and how it's set up. The assembly cut, I will say, I liked it in the theatrical too. The assembly cut does add more to the beginning of the movie. And I do prefer it, even though the theatrical cut kind of, it feels like gets to stuff quicker. The assembly cut, I like all of the stuff where like they find Ripley on the beach and then there's like the EEVs on the beach and they have to get like the team of oxen to like pull it out. That just is like fun, cool world building future stuff where it's like, yeah, these guys on this like mining prison colony have like a team of like earth oxen, I don't know. I like seeing animals in space.
Yeah. And it's one of kind of the holdovers from the Vincent Ward script where they have, very primitive technology.
Right. And we get to that later too, where there's like no weapons, which was a Sigourney Weaver mandate for this movie. She didn't want any guns in the movie. But it all kind of tracks that these guys are kind of living like, this is like the worst existence that you can live in like Wayland Yutani's future is these guys who like don't even have batteries really, and yeah, so I like how all that stuff is set up. I also like the funeral for Hicks and Newt, which is in this beginning half. I think that scene is like very nice and sad, and we give like Ripley her moment, and we also get some great like Charles S. Dutton character. He's already been introduced, but it feels like that's really the moment where his character kind of comes to the forefront. And you start seeing like, okay, this guy's going to be the other major player in this movie, is when he kind of eulogizes at the funeral. And I like both in the theatrical cut and in the assembly cut, that being intercut with the chest burster coming out of the dog or the oxen, as the case may be. I don't know if you have a preference between dog versus oxen chest burster birth during the funeral. I found the ox one just easier to watch because dog stuff in movies is rough for me.
Right.
And so I was like, I kind of like the assembly cut version better just because I don't have to listen to sad dog noises. But I will concede that the theatrical cut, the dog stuff is also effective too. So, and either way, I like it when that little guy comes out of there.
The Bambi burster.
Yeah.
It was a little rod puppet.
Yeah. I do like how it moves. I think the movement of the rod puppet is like weird and freaky and otherworldly.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I like it when it's tiny.
Yeah.
Later in the movie we have some issues.
I still like the movement later in the movie. The way it moves is not the issue. The issue is how it is put to screen. How it is composited into the image.
Yeah. In the past, I've struggled with the first half of Alien 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I've struggled with all of Alien 3, but the first half is like, it's pretty bleak. It's pretty dour. There's a lot of British guys either whispering or yelling incoherently. That's still a huge problem I have with this movie. Is the dialogue, the mixing, the overall sound mix of this movie is atrocious.
Yeah.
With how often it's just like person whispering, person yelling, and I don't really understand what either of them are saying.
I will say watching this with subtitles on really did help.
Oh yeah. With the music and the sound effects and all of that. And that's something that they talked about, like, post-production was pretty rushed on this, so those things just kind of got screwed up. Both times I watched this movie last night, one after another, I do feel like I had a better time with the first half than I remember. There are things in the theatrical cut that are still really rough for me in the first half, and stuff that isn't fixed in the assembly cut, like the attempted rape scene set to nu metal guitars, which can fuck off.
Yeah, sure.
I think that sucks.
I don't know that we needed it. I mean, like, it is like a thing where
if you're gonna do an attempted rape scene in your Alien movie,
yeah,
just don't put crunchy guitars over it. That's my main thing.
Honestly, the thing that I think is more egregious but also kind of funny in that scene is the rape goggles.
Yeah. Holt McCanley's rape goggles are very fun.
It is funny that he's like about to like commit sexual assault, and he's like, first I have to put on my steampunk goggles, put out my arms, and yell, "Ah!"
Yeah, that's funny.
Like, it's funny that he has to like prep.
Like, he's
right.
A fucking Mad Max.
He's got to hype himself up,
Wasteland
I guess.
goblin or whatever.
Yeah, and then fucking get beamed by Charles S. Dutton's crowbar.
Yeah. Because one of the big things that sort of stuck with me watching the theatrical cut this time is the how this world is set up. It's interesting, but I don't feel like the theatrical cut does a good job establishing the characters, establishing the themes, exploring the world effectively enough. And crucially, as impressive as these sets are, I don't think there's anything in this movie that is as visually distinct as the sets in Alien and Aliens by a country mile.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think the assembly cut fixes is having some more footage on the surface of the planet.
Yeah.
With like Charles Dance and the oxen and a little bit more of like the beach and stuff like that. It adds some visual flair to this movie and some a different color palette other than brown.
Yeah.
Because this is the brown one.
It is really brown.
Alien is the black one.
Yeah.
Aliens is the blue one.
Right.
This is the brown one.
It is a very brown movie.
Alien Resurrection is piss yellow.
Hell yeah.
And then Prometheus is the bluest one. Prometheus is blue on levels previously unheard of.
Yeah. When you say some of your favorite visuals are like the surface of the planet stuff that's added in the assembly cut, the most visually striking shot to me in this whole movie, and honestly, I thought it was so good that I was like, this is maybe one of my favorite images in all three Alien movies, but it's very brief, is when you see on the surface that big satellite dish adjusting. Mm-hmm. The first time you see it, and it kind of moves a little bit, and then the second time you see it, the ship is like flying in at the top of the frame, and the satellite dish adjusts to like face toward the ship. I was like, that shot is cool as fuck. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's two tiny shots in this movie. Like
the colony miniature is really impressive.
Yeah.
And they made it out of like cardboard and foam core because they didn't have the money, and they used forced perspective. Yeah. They didn't have money to do a full model set like they would on the previous ones.
Yeah.
But it looks really good, and like the furnaces. I like the furnaces. Like I think they're like shutting down at the end of the movie.
Power down at the end of the movie.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I like that's changed in the assembly cut that I appreciated much more this time than the first time I watched it is you get a sense of the spirituality and the religion of these guys in a more more complete way, in a more thorough way that emphasizes the themes that I think Fincher was going for, which was, spirituality in times of crisis and spirituality in times of despair, and what that means to people, what that does to people. And the simple fact that there are scenes added back in, like 4 or 5 scenes of Charles S. Dutton. I wonder if I got their names mixed up on this episode so far. The Charleses.
Danson S. Dutton.
Danson S. Dutton, yes. Especially because both of their last names start with D, too.
Yeah. There are a couple of Chucks in this movie.
Yeah. The scenes of Dylan, Charles S. Dutton's character, saying prayers.
Yeah, he prays a lot in the assembly cut.
It just gives you more of understanding of why what this these prisoners, monks, what their brotherhood is, what they mean to each other.
Yeah,
and that's the huge thing missing from the theatrical cut for me. Like,
I completely agree.
There's an opportunity in the theatrical cut to explore these themes more deeply, and it's totally glossed over. And then the assembly cut gives me what I was missing from the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
That's one of the huge flaws that I think is present in the theatrical cut, is it's just like there's an opportunity to explore the themes deeper here, but it does kind of feel like Alien is settling into a formula that, its imitators that have come along in the years since the original have played with, and this starts to feel like just another one, just another guys in the corridors in an Alien movie.
Right. Yeah. And what makes it different is sort of those like thematic aspects.
Yeah. And I
think
think
get more of in the assembly cut.
I think the assembly cut does a really good job of bringing that stuff more to the forefront.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you have a preference between the dog and oxen?
Oh,
I think they both work.
I think the funeral scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
The funeral scene I had kind of different reactions to in watching both cuts.
Oh.
Where like the theatrical cut, it wasn't quite working for me. Either I mean I think the dialogue and the music, what Charles S. Dutton's saying, those are pretty good. And then cutting that with the chest burster, or the Bambi burster bursting out of the dog, that didn't work for some reason.
Huh.
And also like this movie has a lot of fade-ins and fade-outs, and so layering shots on top of each other. And we do that where we get the over the funeral scene, we get the warden, Ripley, and Charles Dance in one frame. And
I did think that shot was weird.
The first time I was like, that's a little cheesy. And then watching the assembly cut afterwards, I was like, no, I think I might actually like the shot. Yeah. And I feel like the ox stuff worked better for me with the dialogue, because the ox stuff is a little bit gorier and a little bit meaner.
Yeah.
And the effect,
even though the ox is already dead.
Yeah. And the effect looks better. And I think that cross-cut with Charles S. Dutton's dialogue in the funeral, that contrast worked for me a little bit better.
Yeah.
As far as like dog versus oxen, I don't know that I care about that too much.
But you prefer the assembly cut version of the scene?
I think so. Of the funeral scene, I think so.
I like one reason that I also like the assembly cut more is because the scene that leads into the funeral, or it's maybe like a scene or two before, but they're bringing the ox in.
Yeah.
It's a couple of the guys.
Yeah.
And they're just like talking shit. They're like, oh yeah, like if you saw that girl who's here, what would you say to her? And he's like, oh yeah, just like make moves or whatever.
There are characters in this movie, the prisoners, that in the theatrical cut have no dialogue.
They're just dead meat.
They're just guys.
In the theatrical.
And then in this one, like, you get a better sense of the personalities of some of these guys.
But I like how that scene ends. It's I thought it was pretty funny. Where like the one guy leaves and then the other guy's like cleaning up or whatever, and he like picks up a whole ass face hugger.
Yeah.
Just an entire alien creature and is like, "Hey, what's this?"
Yeah, that was a specially designed face hugger to be like the idea was like this is the face hugger that carries the queen.
The queen, yeah.
So they made it look a little bit different. I would love a close shot of that. Or something.
'Cause
or like go bring that back for another movie. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's from like super far away, and he's basically in silhouette, so you just kind of get the silhouette of the thing. I just think it's so funny that he's like, "What the fuck is this?
What's
shit?
this shit?"
It's like it's clearly
surely
an
this isn't
alien
important.
bug. Like in a world that like again,
we're making crabs tonight.
I love that because like in the first Alien movie, we talked about this on our last Alien or our Aliens episode last year, but. In the first movie, you kind of get the impression that like nobody has ever seen an extraterrestrial before in that first movie. And then in the second movie, it's kind of like, no, maybe there are other aliens that the Marines are like at war with or whatever. And then in this movie, again, it kind of seems like just nobody knows what an alien is. Because like when Ripley finally starts telling people like, hey, here's the deal. It's 8 feet tall. It bleeds acid. Everybody's like, shut the fuck up. What do you think? It's some kind of space alien? And it's like, you live on a fucking space colony. Like, a spaceship brought you here. What do you mean? Like, it's one of the things I love the most about the Alien movies is you can never tell whether it is normal for there to be aliens or not.
Yeah, especially because this movie doesn't make it clear the time jump between Aliens and this one.
I actually really like that choice too, where it's like it's totally ambiguous. It's
yeah,
like,
I do.
no idea.
I do sort of like that.
Yeah. But for Ripley, it's like the same day. She keeps falling asleep and waking up, and there's fucking aliens.
Yeah, for her, she's had like, well, no, she does have some time in Aliens in between.
Right. She's got like a week or whatever.
Yeah, she's got a job and everything before they be like, hey, the colony's been fucked over by some xenomorphs.
Basically, she like keeps going to hypersleep and waking up, and there is a fucking alien.
For her, she's just had like a couple of the worst weeks of her life.
Right. Yeah.
And just when she gets a chance to go to sleep, she wakes up and this fucking guy's in her face again.
Yeah, she's like, God damn it, I can't get rid of this guy.
with his mouth tongue.
Yeah, and his penis head.
And his acid blood, yeah. So we talk about some of the things that work in this movie to varying degrees and some of the stuff that we don't like. What can you talk a little bit more about stuff in this movie that just flat out does not work for you?
Right. So like the big one is the compositing for me. Like it's not a small problem that in this movie every time you see a non-close-up of the alien, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Every time it is not Tom Woodruff Jr. in a costume.
Yeah.
And the alien's composited and done via rod puppetry.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It looks like ass.
It looks like a little turd.
Yeah.
He looks like a little turd monster.
And I think the movement of the rod puppet is, like I said before, kind of cool and otherworldly. It does look very alien, the way it moves. Like, it looks freaky. And the way, like, its tail swings around all crazy and shit. Even the fact that, and this feels like maybe a thing where, like, it almost feels like an unfinished element of the movie to some extent, but like when it runs, it's almost completely silent. Like it like doesn't make noise running. Mm-hmm. And even that, I'm like, that's kind of an interesting choice that it is like so silent because that's kind of eerie. But the problem is it just looks like garbage. It looks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And there's just no way around that.
Yeah. So the rod puppet, when you see the behind the scenes, like the rod puppets that they were working with, the ones that they built, both the Bambi Burster and then like a small scale rod puppet to represent the full scale alien, they look really good and their movement's really interesting.
Yeah.
Where the problem comes in is that scaling those movements up to make the monster seem bigger was difficult and probably a little too ahead of its time for this movie because they had to get like actual measurements on set to scale it up, and that didn't always work. They had to film it at different speeds, and then the compositing process just flat out does not look good in this movie.
Yeah.
So many people mistake the alien for CGI.
No, but it's not.
It's a puppet.
There's like almost no CGI in this movie at all.
The CGI was used for some of the shadows of the alien.
Yeah.
Of the composited alien. And then the shot of the alien's head cracking when it gets hit with
which
the water.
I actually think looks kind of cool.
Yeah, for the 1 second it's on screen, it looks okay.
I think that CGI shot looks fine. The problem here is not CGI. The problem is bad compositing.
Yeah.
And like, also just the color of the thing is totally wrong when it's composited in. Like sometimes it's like way too green. And like other times it's it seems totally inconsistent in how it looks.
Yeah.
The size of it is, I'm glad you mentioned that they were like trying to adjust the size, because you can tell, and they failed, because it does not ever seem to be a consistent size. Sometimes this thing seems like it's 2 feet tall, and other times it seems like it's 8 feet tall, and like not in parts of the movie where those sizes would make sense.
Right.
Like sometimes it seems like it goes from being 8 feet tall to being 2 feet tall in the same scene.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like it ranges from like a cat to like the size of a leopard,
right,
or something, or a small dog to the size of a puma.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, it's a real shame, especially because of how well Aliens handles having a bunch of these things on screen, you know, and they always look good in Aliens. I can't think of a time that they don't, right? And it's like, this just feels like a real step down from the first 2 installments, where like the only time in one that anything looks goofy to me is when the alien gets sucked out of the ship at the end and you can just tell it's a person in a rubber suit, you know? But it's like, this thing has always looked terrifying every other time it's been on screen until now, and now it is the first time it looks dumb, and that is like a real shame.
It's a real problem with this movie.
Yeah.
So I also think that some of the movements of the rod puppet are, and then the way it's scaled up and composited in, are just too herky-jerky and janky, and they stop feeling like a creative choice for how this thing moves, and a technical flaw with how it's turned out.
I can definitely see that. I think my charitable read on that was like, this thing's biomechanical, and it is sort of moving like a machine, which is like weird, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple other things. The costumes look great. Like the costumes and the puppets that they made look awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of design-wise, they don't always look consistent with the rod puppet. There are times where this seems like just another regular bipedal xenomorph,
right?
And then other times where it looks more like the quadruped xenomorph that they designed for this thing. One of the shots that I really like is the guy that's in the vent, the guy that gets turned into hamburger meat.
Yeah,
when he looks down into the chamber where the xenomorph is like molting, basically.
Yeah.
It looks really bloody and weird and fucked up and otherworldly.
Yeah.
And that looks awesome. That's one of my favorite shots of the xenomorph in this movie.
Yeah, mine too. I like that whole scene a lot too. I love that guy falling into that big fan. That guy getting turned into fucking jelly by that huge industrial fan, and then the superintendent being like, well, that's what happens when you bring a girl around and guys are walking around with their boners out. Like, it just immediately being like, all his blood rushed from his brain to his boner and he walked into a running fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't like about this is I think cool thing that we can credit to Fincher.
Yeah.
The xenomorph takes on qualities of its host. That's great.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. I don't know that they fully explored the potential of having a quadruped xenomorph.
No.
Because I don't feel like this thing behaves or acts or moves really all that differently from the aliens in the previous movies, especially when this thing is like chasing these guys through the hallways at the end of the movie for what feels like hours of your life.
Yeah.
And these guys are outrunning the xenomorph that has 4 legs.
Which makes no sense, because then when you see how it moves when it's not in the POV vision, it is clearly moving faster than any human being is capable of. So it's like, it's just inconsistent and dumb.
Yeah.
And it kind of deflates all of the the tension of that hallway chase sequence, which we're talking about things we straight up don't like in this movie. I think that the other big thing for me is that sequence. I think that sequence straight up sucks.
The hallway chase and the POV vision, first of all. The POV vision is cool for 15 seconds.
But they use it too much.
And it starts feeling like a crutch because they know that the rod puppet effects and the compositing aren't very good.
Yes.
And it sucks away all the tension at that point.
I also think my major complaint with that sequence is I don't know where the fuck anyone is, where we're trying to get, where we've been. All of it is completely incomprehensible. You cannot tell your fucking ass from your elbow in that sequence. It is so frustrating. And it's like, clearly the problem was they had one hallway and they just kept shooting it over and over again, right? And it's like, and then the characters are like, also, the dialogue is confusing because they're like, go to hallway B, and he's like, did you say E? No, B. And it's like, they're like intentionally making it more confusing. Yeah, and I'm like, I can't follow this. I can't follow this. I don't care about these characters. They're dead meats. So like, just kill them. I don't care. There is no tension with it. Like, will the xenomorph get random bald British character actor number 6 or not? Like, I don't give a shit. Get him to the molten metal tank. That's what I'm waiting for.
Right.
It just feels like we are just dicking around in these hallways for like so long. And I'm like, the assembly cut, God bless it, makes a lot of choices that enhance the movie. What they should have done is taken out this fucking hallway. Like,
that's the problem with the assembly cut.
Get rid of it.
Is like the third act is basically left intact.
Yeah.
There's very little additional stuff that's added to the third act. There's stuff added to the second act, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
But the hallways straight up suck.
It was really rough for me to watch. And when I was watching the theatrical cut last night, this is the most damning thing about this part of this movie, is this hallway chase is supposed to be like your climactic action set piece.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the most pulse-pounding, edge of your seat part of this entire movie. And I was watching the theatrical cut last night, and I started falling asleep. I had been very into this movie. I was locked in. Basically until this hallway sequence started, and then I just started dozing the fuck off because I was like, I can't follow this, I don't care, and I'm bored.
Yeah.
And that is like such a big problem for your third act action set piece.
It's rough to sit through. And watching it twice last night was rough to sit through back to back. There's so many problems with it. The geography of the scene makes no sense.
Yeah.
And
it also seems like the xenomorph, by the way, has the dungeon map on his HUD.
Yeah, he knows.
Like all of the fucking prisoners are like, I don't know which hallway I'm in. How the fuck do I get out of here?
He's got Batman vision turned on.
Yeah, the xenomorph.
You just see these guns through walls.
The xenomorph is basically just like, I know exactly where I am.
It's the bat.
It's always right behind you. Yeah.
I mean, and creating like tense, exciting, pulse-pounding action and horror in the last two movies. It's textbook how those movies do it. It's perfect. I could draw you a map from memory of Ripley's path in the climactic chase at the end of the first Alien movie.
Right.
That's how well the sets are designed and like distinctly different from one another. I know where she is at all times.
Yeah, well,
in relation to the Nostromo
and in
layout.
Aliens, when she's when we're doing the journey down to try and take out the alien queen, and then like going back up the elevator to escape and stuff, she visits all of the locations that you're gonna hit again when the queen is chasing her.
Yeah.
We spend time in those locations ahead of time, and we remember all the landmarks so that when we're going back through them and during the fast-paced chase sequence, we're like, oh yeah, that's where she is. She has X distance to go until she gets back to the landing platform or whatever. And it's like, there two other movies exist that taught you how to do this in this franchise.
And this is just the same hallway set that isn't dressed very differently or distinctly from shot to shot.
Yeah.
And it, instead of like, if it was trying to intentionally create a sense of disorientation and confusion, I think it would also have to do that for the characters. But the characters like have a plan. They have a plan that they have laid out. They're trying to do this specific thing.
Yeah.
It's just not really made clear to the audience, and it comes across as like chaotic and difficult to follow, and it starts feeling like, okay, now this is just a monster movie where the monster jumps out and kills a bunch of people in a hallway.
Yes.
Or it feels like a fucking Friday the 13th movie where the alien is Jason, and now it's just killing folks. It's killing these dead meats without really any rhyme or reason to it.
And I do think one of the problems that contributes to this is just too many guys to start with, because they give us a head count in Act 1 of this movie where the I think it's Charles Dance is like, they sent everybody else away. These religious converts stayed because they're paying out their penance here or whatever. And then they left a skeleton crew of three minders. There's 2 officers and the medical officer. But he says there's 25 prisoners. And I'm like, that's too many. We got to start this movie with like 8 of these guys so that we can get to know all of them, and so that you don't have to contrive a big hallway set piece to take out 6 of them,
and
because there's still too many left.
And you know what movie had 25 guys in it?
Yeah.
Fucking the one before this one.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Cameron was able to give you a sense of all of these characters, give you little moments with these characters. And of course, I mean, he had 2 hours and 40 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
But
the assembly cut's not that much shorter than that.
Yeah. Give you a sense of these guys, kill off the ones that don't matter, and then give you a little group to follow for the rest of the movie, and then pick them off one by one.
Yeah. It's just it just feels like so lazy and poorly thought out to basically just be like, hey, we have to get to the part of this movie where it's only Ripley and the 2 other guys left. So, I don't know, we'll have the xenomorph kill a bunch of them in halls for 15 minutes. And it's like, fuck off.
God, it feels even longer than that.
I know. It feels so long. It's
just shit. I really hate it.
We're fully in agreement on this. I think this is easily the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't know where anything is. I'm confused. I'm bored. And the frustrating thing too is that when the xenomorph comes up on one of these guys, and it is a guy in the xenomorph suit, and it like sticks its fucking tongue mouth through a dude's head and brains fly out, that shot is cool. And I'm like, cool, great. I wish that shot had been placed in a context where I gave a shit about anything leading up to it or following it.
That's like so here's where I revisit that giant asterisk where you said this movie is darker and bleaker and scarier.
Yeah.
A huge cardinal sin that this movie commits, that I have felt it every time I watched it. I felt it last night. I even felt it with the assembly cut. This movie is not scary.
Okay.
I think there are a couple xenomorph reveals that are kind of cool. I think the xenomorph in the vent is cool. When Ripley is going down to the xenomorph to like just kill me.
Yeah.
And it's, it's out of focus behind her, and the way it's revealed is the camera changes focus, which is maybe a cheap way to do the end from the first one.
I like that.
I think it's effective.
I think it's good.
I think the death of the superintendent is pretty good.
Yes, that is a good, like, we mentioned Rennie Harlan's Deep Blue Sea earlier.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a good little Deep Blue Sea moment where he's like fucking laying down the law and then it just grabs him from the ceiling. Yeah.
But I don't think any of the other deaths are particularly tense or scary, okay. I mean, I go back and forth with the Charles Dance one. I think the Charles Dance one worked better for me in the assembly cut, and I'm not sure if
there's
what
more.
Was added
they add
to it.
More. They add more leading up to it. There's more shots like of Gallic on his cot. Like noticing it creeping into the room and stuff. So it does have a bigger lead up in the assembly cut that I think benefits that kill.
Yeah.
There's a moment that I am prepared to agree with you, by the way. I do think overall this movie on balance is probably not scary. I think that there are a handful of successfully scary moments. One that we haven't mentioned.
And again, I don't know. I probably said this on Aliens. I don't think Aliens is necessarily scary.
No.
But
Yeah.
Aliens is tense.
Right.
And exciting.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be scary, be tense and exciting.
Yes.
And Alien 3 is neither of those things.
I find Alien 3 tense and exciting at points, but I do feel like this hallway sequence specifically completely robs the movie of all tension that it previously had.
Okay.
I think before this hallway sequence, there are moments where I'm like really feeling the tension ratcheting up, and it just like this shit just takes the wind fully out of its sails. But there is a moment that I did want to mention because I do think it is a scary moment, and I do think it's actually like kind of an all-timer xenomorph moment in the first 3 movies, right? Which is when there's the guy who is, they're like putting the explosive stuff all over, because they're going to burn the xenomorph out and like put it in the nuclear waste containment. And there's the guy who like drops the like flare thing that they're going to use to light it. And he's like going down the ladder and reaching for it. And there is a shot. It's like a low angle shot on him as he's reaching down for the flare thing. And you can just see the xenomorph like emerge above him in the like shaft, the like ladder shaft that he's in. And it's just like waiting up there for him as he's like reaching down for it. And I think that shot is like really good enough.
That shot's cool. And then he just doesn't look up when he's climbing up the ladder, and the xenomorph has comedic timing in this movie.
That happens in the first one too,
where he's just like waiting for him there, and
Yeah.
this guy just doesn't look up when he's climbing the ladder.
That's
kind of dumb.
I will contend that level of dumb, we're just setting up a jump scare is also like the first movie is also guilty of that, where like the xenomorph is just kind of chilling somewhere and waiting for someone. Like there's the moment when they're in the like vent shafts and like he's waiting for someone to shine a flashlight on him to be like hello or whatever.
But that scene would be more effective. Would that scene be more effective if we had a shot before of just the xenomorph chilling there?
I don't know. I liked it.
I
like
like that shot in
Yeah.
isolation.
Yeah.
I don't think it resolves, and I think it would be cooler if when the guy starts climbing back up the ladder, the xenomorph is in a different spot.
Right, it's
and
not
it
there
gets him.
anymore. Yeah, you're right.
Because then you're just kind of waiting for it to.
That probably would have been better. However, it does pay off in maybe one of my favorite moments of the movie, which is then that guy gets killed and then he drops the flare thing and it falls in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Really Finchery shot of that, where it's like very dark and like you're just following the movement of the flare thing as it like slowly descends and then it hits the flammable shit and everything just fucking explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the payoff there is pretty cool. But.
Yeah, I like the second act in the assembly cut much more because that plan that they have to trap it in the toxic waste storage facility or whatever, and then the fire that happens is much more developed and fleshed out as a sequence.
Yes, in the theatrical cut, it's literally like they plan to put it in the nuclear waste containment, and then that guy drops the flare and everything blows the fuck up, and then they're basically like, well, that plan didn't work,
right.
And they just move on.
Yeah. But the sequence of them trapping the xenomorph, I think is actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
And then the ramifications of the explosion and stuff feel a lot more dramatic.
Yes, you get so many more shots in the
Just a lot of dudes on fire.
Oh my god! You know I love seeing a stuntman on fire.
Yeah.
There's one shot though in the assembly cut where it's either a remarkably visually similar shot or they just reused the same shot later in the sequence. Because there's definitely one shot where there's like a stuntman on fire doing a big jump from left to right while like the whole background is like engulfed in flames behind him, and I'm like, I think I saw that guy jump already. I think you showed me that like a minute and a half ago. But yeah, I do love seeing all these stuntmen on fire. I like the moment where like one of the attempted rapists is on fire and like Ripley helps put him out and then realizes who it is and is like, wait, what the fuck? I actually hate you.
Fuck this guy specifically.
And then the other attempted rapist guy like kind of sees that happen and is like, I should probably sacrifice myself for this lady, right? Like I've done her wrong. I should probably just get eaten by this xenomorph now.
But the sequence that was added back into the assembly cut, especially especially the stuff with Gallic, where
Yeah.
because Gallic in the theatrical cut just disappears from the movie.
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't matter that he vanishes from the movie in the theatrical cut because he's not a character.
Yeah,
Like, you barely know his name in the theatrical cut.
but the additional scenes that they have with him, where he's like come to worship the xenomorph as like this god of death,
Yeah.
much more effective. And then he lets the xenomorph out and then gets killed, which does make I think the stakes for the third act a little bit stronger, even if I don't think the third act is very good.
Yeah.
But there was a fight that the producers had over being like, well, if you can capture and trap this thing, does that rob it of its power as a force, as a creature, as a monster? And I mean, my argument is the thing that robs it the most of being scary in this movie is the fact that the compositing looks like shit.
Yeah.
I do want to briefly just tangent because I did want to talk about this, so we skipped over it.
Yeah.
H.R. Giger, Human Resources Giger himself,
Yes.
did come back to do the effects for this movie.
Yeah.
And had collaborated with Fincher on it. And they were going for something that was more erotic, that had lips and had a lot of there. It's so funny watching the behind the scenes where Giger is just passionately going over his drawings and explaining things. And then a voiceover from one of the producers who's being interviewed cuts in and was like, yeah, we just couldn't fucking do all of Giger's ideas. They were just too out there. It was just too fucking expensive.
I wanted to have 6 titties, and each titty.
I want. There's one where he's like,
each titty is an animatronic that can move independently of the other titties.
It literally has like dick sucking lips in the concept art and the
awesome.
and the models that they made.
Dude,
it is like it just needs a couple of tits
if
and
the
then it's a deviant art xenomorph.
If the xenomorph grabbed Charles Dance's head and instead of sticking its fucking tongue thing through his skull, if it just like got on its knees and started sucking him off.
There's concept art that he drew of the xenomorph kissing you and killing you and like crushing your skull.
I love that guy's brain.
And he has like this he had this idea of like these
it's kind of a shame that
there's like some sort of movement on the head, like these appendages on the head, and he goes like, it's kind of like a finger brain. It's just like, you are beautiful, dude. I'm so glad that you were a human being that existed on planet Earth and apparently has an office down in the hallway.
It's sort of a shame that he never worked with Guillermo del Toro. Like, it just the timeline didn't line up for those two guys to do a movie where like Guillermo del Toro didn't have H.R. Giger tapped on the design team, because it's like, you talk about a monster fucker movie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You could make the sexiest monster of all time if you had those guys working on the same project. You could have the monster fucking to end all monster fuckings.
Yeah. We really, I think that the time has come.
Yeah.
For someone to give us sexy xenomorph.
Yeah.
All xenomorphs are a little sexy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They all do look.
We talked about this.
They look like dildos.
They also they're sort of curvy.
Yes, they have like a BDSM thing. They kind of resemble leather.
Yeah. And depending on your Google image search, sometimes they have boobs. But yeah, let's give it put a fuckable xenomorph in Alien Romulus 2 Fede Alvarez. Take a fucking risk.
Offer the next fucking alien movie to Guillermo del Toro and say, please make a monster fucking movie about a xenomorph.
Cast Doug Jones to play the xenomorph.
Oh, why has that not happened yet?
Oh yeah, dude.
He should be. We need to get Doug Jones in one of those suits yesterday.
The guy that they cast for the first alien who played the xenomorph practically was the proto Doug Jones in terms of proportions.
I honestly think that like Hollywood owes Doug Jones at least 2 xenomorph roles at this point. It feels like he's overdue. Like they should be throwing these things at him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch in mocap.
Oh, yikes.
Just committing to it like he did with Smoke.
Yeah. Or his Frankenstein. Have you seen his Frankenstein?
Oh, he was
He did it on like the West End or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh boy, you got to look up Benedict Cumberbatch playing Frankenstein's
awesome.
monster, because he does it in a way that I would. Have you seen Bradley Cooper do the Elephant Man?
I don't know that I saw footage of it, but I saw photos of him doing weird expressions.
Same vibe.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like Benedict Cumberbatch's take on Frankenstein's monster seemed to be, what if he was, in addition to a reanimated corpse, what if he had like some kind of intellectual or learning disability?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like,
oh no, we
not
simple
great.
jacked Frankenstein.
Yeah,
boy.
It's not awesome, dude. It's like it's pretty tough to watch. Yeah.
Andy Serkis.
Oh, man.
Mocap xenomorph.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah,
You could do a monster fucking movie where like it's a love triangle between two xenomorphs, and then I don't know, fucking Jack
Yautja?
Quaid.
Oh, Jack Quaid. Yeah. Jack Quaid would fuck a xenomorph.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He would.
He does have freak energy. Like
yeah,
you show me Jack Quaid in any movie.
Wholesome freak energy,
Yeah,
I would say.
But you show me Jack Quaid in any movie, and I'm like, that guy's up to something, you know? Which is also the energy that Charles Dance has. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's such great casting in this movie.
Yeah.
Is because the whole movie, you're like, he seems like sweet and nice and genuine, but also maybe he's just evil. Like maybe this guy is a mad scientist or something.
They really hype up his backstory, and like his backstory,
It's fucked up.
He's not a good guy.
No.
But
he's paid his debt to society, but he really fucked up.
They do make him sound like Super Hitler, though.
No, he just murdered 11 people on accident.
Yeah, he just got drunk in the ER.
Yeah, well, he got drunk after his ER shift, but then they
Right.
called him back to the ER. And what he should have said is, no, I'm drunk. And instead he went to work drunk and killed 11 people by giving them too many painkillers. Which, after watching so much The Pit, I was like, oh man, this guy's got fucking Dr. Langdon problems. He's got to like go on a spirit quest and come back all reformed. He's got to like get his medallion.
I was thinking of Denzel Washington in Flight.
Oh,
He's just trying to flight his way through this one.
does he have a?
He's a pilot and he's an alcoholic. And I think there's a.
That's a bad mix.
I haven't seen the movie. I just know that premise.
Ah.
And there's like some controversy about it.
Yeah.
But
Do you think that Charlie Kirk saw the movie Flight and that's why he said that thing about black pilots? He thought it was real. He was like, "Oh yeah,
I don't know." You know, we'll never get to ask him.
yeah."
And that's a shame.
Rest in piss. Yeah. Second act of this movie, other things. I like the stuff with Gallic being like, yeah, like I said, I like when a little freak is sort of religiously fascinated with the alien in Alien. I love seeing that. I like that he's just like, it's magnificent. I gotta get another look at it. And it's like, he's already been set up as kind of a freak, and maybe, you know, he's got a screw loose or whatever. By the way, this is like fully compulsory at this point, and we don't need to make a big deal about it, but it is time for a Disgusting Shit Person News Bulletin. Because Gallic is, of course, a disgusting little rat man. He has gross little teeth. The other prisoners. So this is like a maximum security prison work camp, private prison work camp owned by Weyland-Yutani.
They also all have double Y chromosomes.
Yes, that is a thing that is like not. You don't need that in this movie.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's sort of an interesting detail, especially because that's a real thing. This isn't like a sci-fi thing. It's like, no, yeah, some dudes are born with double Y chromosomes, and it does actually increase the risk of like antisocial personality disorders and stuff. So it's an interesting thing that, you know, you could take or leave. But yeah, all of these guys who are all big, sweaty, gross, bald rapists and murderers, all of them are like, Gallic, that guy skeeves me out. You know, and to just be the guy that other, like a prison full of like murderers and child molesters are like, I don't want to hang out with that guy because he smells like shit. You know that guy is like in polite society, Gallic is like a goblin. he's like the worst guy in this group of guys, but if you put him in like a normal situation, this dude is like barely recognizably human.
Yeah. When he's in the infirmary, like in the straitjacket or whatever, and he's talking to Ripley, and he's like, you got a boyfriend or whatever?
Yeah. Are you married?
You married?
You want children?
I had a lot of girls back on Earth. They were really nice or whatever.
Yeah, they used to like me. Yeah.
Oh no, what has this man done?
Yeah. And they do like the prison guard guy, 85.
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron, yeah.
They call 85. Yeah.
He says that like Gallic is like known for particularly brutal crimes too. So in addition to stinking like shit and having gross teeth and being a disgusting little rat freak, he also like, I don't know, played with people's guts or whatever, like a real Richard Chase type.
Gallic. And worships the xenomorph and stuff.
Yeah.
I think what maybe that's a great choice for a disgusting shit person. I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Why it wasn't necessarily apparent to me was I kind of think I like Gallic a little bit too much, and I like disgusting shit people.
Right.
But I'm sort of like Gallic kind of seems like adorable and cute.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I sort of had the same
reaction.
thing with him. I had the same thing with him where like in the added scenes in the assembly cut where they're kind of bullying him in the mess hall and Charles S. Dutton is like, oh, lay off. You know, he's doing his best. I was like, yeah, man, don't be mean to Gallic.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy.
Right, yeah. Anyway, I guess this has been a Disgusting Shippers News Bulletin. But yeah, all the stuff in the assembly cut where like he lets it out, and then it like he has the moment in awe of it, and then it just gobbles him up and shit. Like I think that's all good. I'm glad they put it back in.
Charles S. Dutton,
yeah,
and Charles Dance,
yes,
the saving graces of this movie, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think, and you might disagree with me on this, I don't think anyone's bad in this movie. I don't think there's bad acting in this movie. I think there are lots of things about this movie that are flawed and some things that are straight up bad. But I think the performances are mostly unimpeachable. Like all these like random British character actors are like that are the kind of the dead meats. I feel like are all doing passable stuff. And maybe it's hard to differentiate them from each other, but I don't think that's a fault of the performances. I think it's because of the choice to make everyone bald and wear the same costumes because they're prisoners.
Is this a great movie for balds?
Oh, yeah. Like fucking A-tier bald movie.
Because, I mean, obviously, like, everyone's bald in this movie.
Yeah.
Ripley's bald.
Yes.
That was when Sigourney Weaver asked David Fincher what his vision was for Ripley in this movie. He said, I don't know, maybe she's bald.
Yeah.
And that was how Sigourney Weaver realized they were going to have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Working together. All the cast had very positive things to say about Fincher, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Fincher was great with the cast. The crew, sounds like various members of the crew have mixed things to say about him.
Well, he can be a little micromanaging
sure.
and controlling.
But he was also under a lot of pressure from Fox,
sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
And working long days and staying up. He was basically functioning as his own producer.
Yeah.
Like calling and dealing with the Fox executives at night.
God, what a nightmare.
Anyways.
I understand why he says it was like being sodomized
right.
for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Ripley has a bald cap. Or Sigourney Weaver is wearing a bald cap for some of those scenes.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell.
No, because she had in her contract that if she had to come back for reshoots and shave her head, that she would be paid $45,000 because it was such an ordeal for her to shave her head and her hair growing back and other roles and stuff like that.
Projects, yeah.
So they compromised and made a $16,000 bald cap.
Cheaper than than having her shave her head.
But the reason why I asked if it was a good movie for balds. Because I was just like, does the presence of bald people solely make a movie a good movie for balds, or is it the quality of their baldness?
I think it is how the movie presents baldness. That is kind of the key part of it for me.
So the fact that bald people are all rapists and murderers,
but they're
in this?
not all rapists and murderers, because Ripley is also bald, and the prison warden guy is bald, and Charles Dance is rocking a very tight buzz cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would argue that it is a good movie for balds, because not only are these, yes, flawed men with, to put it lightly, storied pasts. They're all bald, and like we're not rooting for all of them. We end up rooting for some of them though, which I do think is a good thing about this movie. I think it is good that it's like these guys, yes, like Charles S. Dutton says, you opened the podcast with it. I am a rapist and murderer of women. He says that. And then by the end of the movie, you're like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that it's good that the movie does that, because I do think that there is like, in the bleakness and cynicism of this movie, there is sort of a message about like, no matter what you've done, no matter what kind of piece of shit you've been, you know, you can turn it around. Like, reforming people is possible, you know? So that's over here, aside from the bald conversation. But, yes, I would also argue though, that like Charles Dance, very, very sexy bald man in this movie.
Absolutely.
And he's not only like rocking the tight buzz cut and is bald in that regard, but also his hairline is going in this movie. Mm-hmm. He's got like the real strong widow's peak. He is thin on the crown. Even though he's got the buzz cut, you can still tell. And it's like he is, despite having very little hair, and the hair he has is vanishing rapidly, he is still just like such a fucking sex magnet.
Little baby face, fresh as a spring chicken, Charles Dance.
Right. Oh, barely 41 years old.
compared to seeing him as crusty old Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He's hot in this movie.
Yeah.
When he's wearing that like big baggy Weyland-Yutani t-shirt in the scene where he gets killed, when he's like sitting down on the bed next to Ripley in that just like it reminds me of like a Gildan heavy cotton t-shirt. It probably was. I'm like, man, that is a really good look. Just Charles Dance in like a big baggy black tee.
Oh, the assembly cut scenes of him walking on the beach.
Yeah.
In that big cloak. I was like, that looks awesome.
Yeah, but he's like a snack in this movie.
Yeah.
He's looking great.
And to his credit, he takes one look at bald Ripley and is like, I want to be up in them guts.
Yeah.
I want to be smashing that woman.
And she can tell, and she comes on to him, which I love.
Yeah.
I really, really love that scene where they're talking. He's still trying to get information out of her because he's like, you've been acting weird. You made me do this autopsy on a 10-year-old girl because she has cholera, I guess. Right? And he's like, what's going on? And she's basically like, hey, you want to fuck me?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and then we cut away to another scene and come back, and they're in bed together, and he's like, so that was really fun. Still wondering what the fuck was up with that child autopsy. But yeah, and the other reason it's a good movie for balds is because Sigourney Weaver is wearing bald incredibly well.
Yes, absolutely.
She looks she looks so fucking cool in this movie.
It's such a good... I think the script somewhat fails Ripley's character arc in this movie.
Yeah.
I think, and I will also concede, I think Sigourney Weaver's performance is maybe her weakest so far in this one. I don't think she's bad because she could read the phone book and I would be interested in that. But it does seem like how tired Ripley is, how she's kind of facing down death, how she's lived with this thing for so long. That's all textually in the script, and the script kind of beats you over the head with it. I don't know that her performance feels like it ever rises above the script as much as it could. It does kind of feel like, you know, in some scenes it's like, yeah, Sigourney Weaver's back for the third one and she's kind of tired of doing these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like watching Return of the Jedi, where all of the cast are still doing a really good job, but you can kind of sense that they're a little bit ready for this to be over.
Yeah. I think I'm going to kind of disagree with you on this, because I hear what you're saying, But at the same time, like, I feel like I'm getting energy from her in this movie. I feel like the intensity is there for me in this movie. And I feel like she's kind of locked into the bleakness of it and is sort of like operating really well in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna say I don't think she's better in this movie than she is in Aliens. I think she's maybe better than when she was a younger and less experienced actress in the first one. I would say maybe she's better in this movie than she is in the first movie because she's more experienced and more skilled, and I feel like her performance is more nuanced and it has more places to go.
She did say that she, I think, felt more confident in this movie as an actress.
Yeah.
And was like on a better sort of even playing field with the rest of the cast.
Yeah. And she feels really game for whatever this movie is throwing at her, which ends up being a lot. And it feels like, I don't know. I feel like there's never anything in this movie where I'm like, oh, you can tell she doesn't want to be here for this. Mm-hmm. It feels like she's really like, to me, it feels like she is really locked into the character journey that this movie gives her. And the movie fumbles it from like a script perspective.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do feel like she kind of brings something to it that does elevate it a little bit for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to the other cast, Charles Dance is fucking great.
He's so good.
I've had mixed feelings on the romance, or the sexual tension in the past. I think the assembly cut adds a little bit more to make their relationship make a little bit more sense.
I agree. Yep.
I don't love that he is killed so early, mostly because he's just such a good actor, and then I want to see him on screen more.
Yeah.
Story-wise, because this movie is going for something that's bleaker and meaner, it makes a little bit more sense. I think his death scene in the assembly cut makes his death feel a little bit more justified, just with the way it's edited. It just works better for me.
Yeah.
And then Charles S. Dutton, fucking swinging dick up and down this movie. It's like, I mean, we were talking about like Yaphet Kotto is like a force of nature in the first one.
Yeah.
That's what Charles S. Dutton feels like.
Yes. I think that if the shitty hallway sequence that sucks ass is the worst thing about this movie, I think easily the best thing about this movie is Charles S. Dutton.
100% agree. He is the thing that I look forward to the most when I come back to this movie.
He rocks so hard. Like we already said, he gets you to root for this character that is positioned as a character that it is almost impossible to root for. Also, not only because of his past crimes, but also because he is sort of the spiritual leader of this group of dudes. And this movie's take on religion and is not charitable. Like I would say it's not a going out on a limb to say that this movie is critical of religion, right? And so because Charles S. Dutton is sort of embodying the spiritual in this movie as well, it would seem like the movie is kind of lending itself to having you not like him. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a testament to Charles S. Dutton as an actor that no matter what the script has in it about his character, you will like him.
Yeah.
You have to.
No matter what pages were handed to David Fincher that day and probably rewritten, Charles S. Dutton, I think, is the one member of the cast who is able to rise above the script and elevate the material.
Yeah.
And to your other point, I do think everyone in this movie is pretty good. Even my criticisms for Sigourney Weaver, it's just by some slight degrees,
right, and like
weaker than what she's done before.
You're right. Yeah.
But where this movie falls apart for me is in the writing and the fact that these guys just don't have that much to do.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, yeah, okay, these guys are doing good performances. We got Pete Postlethwaite in this thing. His character
name is also Postlethwaite, which is funny.
For me, he's the original that guy or the original character actor because I think from the Babe movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I probably watched The Lost World Jurassic Park, and I was like, hey, it's that guy again.
Yeah, this dude's got a fucking mug on him too. Like Pete Postlethwaite looks like a caricature artist drew him,
Absolutely.
and he came to life.
Just like
that brow. And yeah, man.
God, this movie feels like a fucking Guy Ritchie movie at points with how British and
Yeah.
fucked up these guys' faces are.
Yeah, it is funny.
We just need Jason Statham walking on screen
Yeah.
being like, so it's a fucking xenomorph.
It's funny that we're going back to the Alien 1 thing.
What's the job? Oh, we gotta trap a xenomorph in a toxic waste.
Oh, yeah. It's not my first fucking xenomorph. Yeah. Yeah, fucking Jason Statham and Tom Hardy as British heavyweights versus a xenomorph.
Just a couple fucking Cockney gangsters against this. That's, oh man, we're talking about like, putting the Predator in different time periods. Fucking Predator Peaky Blinders crossover.
Yeah, there you go. He goes back to like fucking old London town.
Oi, governor. Looks like we got a fucking youcher on our hands.
This fucking Predator.
I'm gonna bash this fucking youcher's head in.
I'm gonna cover myself in mud so he
cut
can't
his
see
fucking
me.
bollocks off.
I'm gonna cover myself in ash like a little chimney sweep.
I'm gonna cover myself in Guinness.
It's just fucking sopping with Guinness. Fucking coming up behind a predator with like a fucking crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You could also, I mean, we were talking about Guillermo del Toro doing a monster fucker movie. We could also just have fucking Jason Statham fuck a xenomorph that's Doug Jones in a suit.
Oh.
Oh, I'm fucking this xenomorph.
Yeah, you fucking like that, don't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab its little fucking
like,
dickhead from behind while I'm fucking it.
I haven't seen Crank, but that
Yeah,
scene
right.
where he's just fucking the girl.
Yeah.
In public.
Yeah.
That, but it's a 10-foot tall Doug Jones xenomorph.
I'm gonna empty my fucking balls in this xenomorph. Sorry, now I'm just picturing Jason Statham railing a xenomorph.
Right.
It's really hard to move on.
I don't even know how to make a joke about it
Yeah,
anymore.
it's just a funny mental image. It's
funny.
a funny mental
Mhm.
image of the cinematography from Crank, the quick cuts where it's like super low angle.
He's got
on
his like
face,
tongue out. He like
xenomorph's
shocks
like,
himself.
"Rah!"
The mouth on the xenomorph is just like going in and out.
Yeah. The tail is like shaking as it's having an orgasm.
And it has tits, and the tits start leaking acid.
Right, they shoot acid. Yeah, it
Yeah.
lactates acid.
Great, dude. Fucking. Oh man, we just brought this episode back to life.
Right, much like Alien 3, it was kind of, we were hitting a low. We had to get an injection of energy, which in Alien 3 happens with Lance Henriksen walking into the movie. It's like you have that god-awful fucking hallway sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like some shit I actually like. I really like, before Lance Henriksen walks into this movie, I like the sequence where Charles S. Dutton sacrifices himself and is there in the mold that the lead is going to be poured into.
Right.
Because the plan is to put the molten lead on the xenomorph, and he like initially it's going to be Ripley that does it. But then Charles S. Dutton is like, no, you have to live. He's like sacrificing himself for her. But I like all that stuff visually. It's really red and orange in there. And there's some good like David Fincher shots in there of like some of the close-ups of Dutton and of Sigourney Weaver. Also when the xenomorph gets him and it's all the close-ups of him like being thrashed by it. I think that whole moment is really great.
I noticed he's also screaming at that xenomorph and like yelling shit for a long time after. He's still just like, you motherfucker, come in. And while he's being
that all you got?
gouged by the xenomorphs gnawing on him.
Yeah. At one point, I don't know if I heard the line right, but it sounds like he's like, is all you can do bite? Or something like that. And I'm like, that's really funny. To just be like talking shit about like, what, you're not even using your fucking tail? I don't know why I just made Charles S. Dutton sound like that. That's not what his voice sounds like. But yeah, I like that whole bit. I like them dunking the lead on it. and then it's like a triumphant moment for a second, and then it just bursts out of the lead.
They play music that if it's not exactly the score from the first one,
it's
reminiscent of it.
Yeah,
I know Elliot Goldenthal, who did the score, wanted to do some different themes, and I think the music is mostly good in this movie. I like the assembly cut more. We have more of the like choral music that I think emphasizes the spirituality theme and the religious themes more.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is the chunky new metal guitars for the rape scene.
Right.
I think that sucks ass.
I do agree that's a bad choice.
Otherwise, I like the score. I was too hard on the score in the past because I think that particular piece of scoring stuck out to me so much.
Right.
But then I'm like, yeah, this guy did the score for Heat, and Heat sounds great.
Yeah.
I think this score sounds pretty great, too.
I overall really like the score.
Yeah.
I think it is like different enough from the last two movies that it kind of fits this movie kind of being a different thing.
Yeah.
And I agree. I like when the score kind of gets churchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like when the xenomorph fucking explodes.
Yes.
I do really like
It's pretty rad.
the xenomorph death in this movie.
I like the end of this movie too. I like the death of the xenomorph. Another huge unimpeachable sin that a lot of people level against this movie is the decision to kill Ripley. You know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with how the scene plays out. I don't love the effects and the compositing, but that's just like a product of how the film was made and the rushed production, rushed post-production, I should say. But Lance Henriksen showing up, looking like a Metal Gear Solid villain with his bandana and his glasses on for most of it.
Also, him showing up with these goons that just make you realize how short he is very fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, he's not big.
And these fucking like evil stormtroopers working for Weyland Yutani.
Yeah.
I think the end of this movie works. I think it's one of the best parts of the movie.
I agree.
Is Ripley's sacrifice. Do you have a preference between because this was another huge debate that they had about finishing the movie was whether the xenomorph jumps out of her chest or not. Do you have a preferred version?
I do. I like the assembly cut version where it doesn't more.
Okay.
Because to me it just feels unnecessary at that point. One of the things I like a lot about this movie, actually, and one of the thematic things that I think it does successfully do even in the theatrical cut is sort of the reckoning with mortality. And sort of like there are metaphors that you can draw between Ripley being pregnant with the alien queen chestburster, and like living with a terminal disease.
Yeah.
And there's also like this movie came out like between the first movie and this one, the whole AIDS crisis happened. And I do think this movie is a little bit informed by that thing that the world lived through, right? And so that when we're talking about disease and contagion and stuff in this movie, it does seem to have like a heavier weight behind it. So I think that stuff is in her kind of character journey as well. I also think that there's like definitely an abortion take that you can make about this movie. And like we also just came out of the Reagan era. This is 1992, you know? And so it feels like her choice at the end of this movie to die rather than to give birth to this monstrosity that the right-wingers want her to carry to term, right, is like poetic and beautiful and not only sad. I think it's also triumphant, right? And I think the movie kind of plays it successfully that way in both versions, but I think it's more triumphant when it's not then also like a rubber thing popping out with big gore effect.
Yeah,
you know,
when she doesn't have a red dildo with teeth squirting out of her chest.
And to be clear, the effect looks fine. The chestburster effect looks fine in the theatrical version. I have no issue with that. And I like, I'm a gore hound. I like a little extra gore, but I think it's better without it. I think it's better when she's just like, this is my choice. I will not be a part of this system. I would rather, die on my own terms, whatever, Yeah.
think I like the chestburster better.
Fair enough.
I'm not. I love your reasoning for. I agree. I think the ending works in both cases. I think Ripley's decision to die being framed with a little bit more triumph, and it's her choice, and she's facing this thing, and she's also, she's also ending this cycle of trauma that she's been through.
Yeah, that she's literally been trapped in.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. That all works for me. I think her, riding the Japanese bullet train to hell with the xenomorph, clutching the xenomorph, jumping out of her chest. Visually, I think that works for me better. Also, I think it's a better sense of finality for the character.
Right.
Like, it feels like it closes the loop on the xenomorph being, the xenomorph inside of her, and it closes her character arc at the same time. I mean, it's like Gollum falling into Gollum in the Ring falling into Mount Doom together.
I was also thinking about this. Yeah,
it's like we just wrap both of these up in a nice little bow at the same time.
Right. Yeah. And if there's one thing that I do want to give the theatrical about, like, that moment kind of working with the chestburster, it is that the chestburster comes out of her and then tries to escape. It seems like it's trying to get away while she's falling, and she does hold it to her chest and is like, no, motherfucker, we're both going in here.
Yeah, it's like
which is cool.
This thing that's tormented her so long, she's using her last moment to fight it for one last time.
And she's strong enough to bring it with her.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. And I will say, the compositing of her falling into the furnace looks bad.
There's also this weird strobing that was a result of the compositing.
Yes. However, I'm going to walk back what I said. It looks unrealistic. It doesn't look like a person falling into a furnace. It looks like an image of a person cut out and put into a bunch of fire. And unlike the earlier compositing, which I think is only bad, this image I found sort of compellingly strange. It reminded me, and I know you're going to hate that I'm making this comparison, of Hausu. Some of the visuals in that movie do not look realistic.
Sure.
But are sort of poetically strange.
Uh-huh.
And the image of Ripley falling into the fire at the end of this movie, because I kind of enjoyed the journey that visual is wrapping up, it sort of being janky kind of worked for me. I was like, this is poetically weird and kind of beautiful in its surrealness.
Okay.
And so that one I don't mind. I actually kind of like it.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah.
I like the composition of the image. I like what it represents for her character. I think the rushed aspect of the effects shows on screen, and I do think it robs the moment of some of its thematic power ever so slightly, even if overall I think the sequence at the end is good. So yeah, it's not great. It's maybe I would like to see that effect cleaned up in the way where it's like Dick Jones falling out of the building in RoboCop. Please just leave it that way forever. I don't know if I said that on the episode, but I do think the big silly arms are great.
I love it too.
I don't have the same affection for this.
Yeah. I do like this as an ending though. Like what you were saying, this is divisive among fans. I think Ripley dying is good.
I think it's appropriately dark and bleak for the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a good ending for her character.
Me too.
Before she gets resurrected and cloned in 200 years, excuse me.
But notably, the franchise never fully undoes this. When she comes back, she's a clone. It's like, no, the character, despite it being a divisive choice, the character is just dead.
Yeah.
And we have not undone that, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that this is afforded that finality.
I think the movie's bleakness and its hopelessness and its darkness is a double-edged sword, because there are moments where it works for me like it does here. And then there's parts of the movie that are just kind of joyless and plodding.
Right.
And I don't feel like the bleakness and the darkness is quite justified or supported by the script. This is not an evil film, but like as an evil film enjoyer, and we watched a bunch of sad movies. I watched some sad movies in that time. The thing I was sort of asking myself is like, what is all this misery in service of?
Right.
And sometimes, like in the case of Irreversible, I'm like, I don't know that this is in service of anything other than just like misery for its own sake.
Yeah.
And that is fine.
Right.
Like that's sometimes life just sucks and your suffering doesn't mean anything.
And seeing that reflected in art is totally a valid thing.
Cool, great. Yeah. But it's a fine line to tread.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like the theatrical cut, at least of Alien, makes all that suffering justified.
Right.
And all of the bleakness and the dour atmosphere, especially because it starts feeling monotonous and it starts feeling boring, and then we're fucking running through the hallways with the xenomorph at the end. In the assembly cut, with the added element of the spirituality, I think it works better for me. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because I know you had mentioned how you appreciate how mean and bleak this movie is at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I ever had a chance to comment on it. But I don't think the bleakness and the meanness always works for me. But in some moments it does.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I think we're running out of things to say about the movie. So like
we'll wrap it up.
We're going to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one thought that I wanted to have before we get off the planet. Before we close up the refinery
prison
and
colony
and head back to Weyland-Yutani.
Yeah,
I really liked that scene too, where they just shut everything down.
Yep. Yeah, and you just get all the locations just empty.
Yeah.
And Morse is like being dragged out by the Weyland-Yutani guys with his fucking shot out knee because they like shoot him in the leg. And yeah, and he's like the only survivor. Like everybody else has eaten shit. Mm-hmm. So it's just the fucking like mouthy asshole prisoner. And it's like things aren't even ending good for him. He's just going to get shipped off to another prison.
Yeah.
That's
what we need. We need a Gallic comic book, or not Gallic, Morse. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
they're
right.
I'm getting the bald British guys mixed up.
Alien: The Adventures of Morse.
The Adventures of Morse. I think they did a children's book about Jonesy living on the space station during the events of Aliens.
That's nice.
I really need to read that because I do just want to know what happened to that cat.
Yeah, no Jonesy in Alien 3, which good. There is no place for Jonesy. Jonesy needs to stay far away from Fury 161.
Jonesy has a great life.
Yeah.
Far from the xenomorphs,
yep.
As far as we know.
Yeah. David, is Alien 3 the greatest movie ever made?
Justus. No.
I
don't think either cut of this film that you can legally view from 20th Century Fox is the greatest movie ever made. There's some fan cuts that are floating around and stuff like that I would maybe be interested to see. I think the theatrical cut is a bad movie. I have always thought it is bad, and I think that I probably will continue to always think that it is bad. It's great that it's gotten cultural reappropriation, reappraisal, I should say, from fans. I can appreciate that people like it, but I'm not one of those people. I also think that some of the criticisms that people level at the movie are kind of like well-trod territory that I don't know that impact me while I'm watching it. When I'm watching it, I'm not angry that they killed Newton Bishop for the 20th time that I've seen the movie. I'm not angry that Ripley dies at the end. Taking the movie as it is just kind of drab and boring and bland and missing a lot of opportunities to explore themes and explore character better. It's not particularly scary. It's also not particularly exciting or tense. I think the monster design is inferior to the previous films, and the effects, the compositing effects for the rod puppetry are a huge black mark on making the xenomorph a joke in this film. we didn't get into this also, but I also think like especially in the theatrical cut, you can just feel the editing is off. The cinematographer made the choice to often shoot looking up at people.
Yeah.
And I think that movie gives the movie a distinct look. I don't think it always works. And I think some of the editing has causes problems with that particular choice. The theatrical cut is heavily flawed, difficult for me to sit through. And often, when I've watched a bunch of these movies all at once, falls towards the bottom of my Alien rankings. The saving graces of the theatrical cut are some of those themes that feel like they're not explored to their full potential, that are at least an interesting element of the world building. The Charleses, Dance and S. Dutton are fantastic, and doing this script a service by committing to the performances as strongly as they are. And through it all, I think David Fincher, I didn't talk about this that much, I think David Fincher's skill as a director is still on display in the theatrical cut. Even as you can feel him holding this movie together with everything in him and fighting with the studio. That's not his fault, but that doesn't mean that I have to enjoy watching the movie. And I don't enjoy the theatrical cut. The assembly cut, I would say, is almost a good movie. It is so close to being a good movie because it corrects so many of the glaring flaws that I'm feeling when I'm watching the theatrical cut. It gives us more themes. It explores those themes pretty well. It makes the suffering and the bleakness and the dour atmosphere a little bit more justified, and gives these characters a chance to feel more distinct and more colorful. It feels like unlike the theatrical cut, which feels like just another Alien movie, it suggests that some of those distinct, bold, creative choices that Fincher and previous screenwriters and creatives that had worked on the film beforehand were hinting towards and really working towards, that were gutted by a studio. So I think I had a better time with the assembly cut, and then some of the stuff that was holdover from the theatrical cut and the assembly cut isn't changed dramatically enough to make it better. I still think the third act, the climax of the film, chasing the alien through hallways or being chased by the alien through hallways, it still sucks.
Yeah,
it's still so tedious and monotonous. It sucks that we don't have a great Alien 3. It sucks that we don't have Vincent Ward's Wooden Planet, which may or may not have worked. It sucks that we don't have cool, aliens on Earth or an alien homeworld movie for our Alien 3. But you know what's good? That we have Seven, that we have Fight Club, that we have Zodiac.
Previous episode, The Social Network.
And it does seem like David Fincher's trial by fire did... he would not be the same filmmaker he is today without making this movie.
Right. He learned a lot of lessons on this one.
Yeah. And he did go back to commercials. He thought that his career was over, and then someone handed him the script to Seven. And it kind of explains the 3-year gap between this film and Seven.
Yeah.
Just like David, I think David Lynch directing Dune and Dune being a failure.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire and everything that he's done since that he did since then. I have no ill will towards David Fincher. I wish that I liked this movie more. I think the assembly cut is my preferred version, even if there's some changes that I prefer from the theatrical cut. It's kind of a toss-up. But I've been rambling, and my answer is no anyway. You already knew that. So no, not the greatest movie ever made. Justus, this is your first go-around with Alien 3. Is it the greatest movie ever made?
David, yeah, my first go around with Alien 3. The ride's so nice I took it twice? Question mark? I did watch this movie twice.
I do want to say one thing before. Sorry, interrupt your verdict.
Yeah.
I think I like Event Horizon better.
Okay, I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
Now, would you say? Sorry, you said that the assembly cut is almost good, and you said the theatrical cut is bad. Would you say Event Horizon is a good or bad movie?
I would say Event Horizon is almost good.
Okay,
In
but
the
not
same
good.
in the same way that
Okay.
the assembly cut is
All right,
almost good.
All right, fine. Just wanted to know where we stood on that. All right.
Yeah.
David. So I'm not gonna fucking give you the runaround here. We've already been going for long enough. I don't need to prolong this with some kind of fucking big rigmarole. I'm gonna say no. It's not the greatest movie ever made. Neither cut of this movie is the greatest movie ever made. I liked this movie more than you did. I am confident in that. I liked both versions of this movie more than you did. I was surprised, based on this movie's reputation, by how much I liked the theatrical cut. I thought the theatrical cut was okay. I was like, this movie is all right.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable opinion, by the way.
Yeah. I was like, hey, it's got some obvious problems, but I'm having a pretty good time. There are parts of this movie where I'm having a better time than other parts, but ultimately it starts strong, it ends strong, and there's enough holding it up that I'm kind of like, I've seen a lot worse sci-fi movies than this. I've seen worse horror movies than this. This thing has good performances. The script is a total mess, but it looks pretty good in general. And I wasn't mad at it. The theatrical cut, I was like, yeah, there's some shit in here that sucks. But overall, I am just as happy watching this as I am any other, horror sequel. Kind of, and the assembly cut, I think, is a good movie. Honestly, my take is Alien 3 assembly cut, good. Honestly, my take is kind of Alien 3 good movie, actually. Mm-hmm. But the assembly cut is really, I was like, there is just enough meat on this bone to keep me happy, even though we are wasting a bunch of time and dicking around still in the third act of this movie.
I think for me, there was enough meat on the bone until we got to the third act.
Yeah.
And the third act was like, oh boy, we're back to Shitsville.
I was still frustrated. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I was still frustrated with that horrendous hallway sequence and some of the other places where this thing drags. But I felt like the movie had given me enough where the goodwill that I had sort of carried me through those very frustrating moments. In the assembly cut specifically, because during the theatrical cut, I was falling asleep during the hallway sequence. During the assembly cut, I was watching that hallway sequence, still frustrated by it, but a little bit more aware, a little bit more alert, right? Because I was like, this movie that I like has put me in this position. Maybe I'll see what it's going for here. And then it's still there, it still kind of biffs that shit, right? But then the ending is good, and I like that ending. And here's the take that I think is the most different from you, and kind of really solidifies my feelings on this movie being distinctly more positive than yours. I think the first 40 minutes of this movie, either cut but especially assembly, is just as good as anything in the other two Alien movies. I think the first 40 minutes of this movie, you could put it side by side with Ridley Scott's Alien.
Like the first 40 minutes of the other movies?
No, just anything in those movies.
Okay,
right?
I think that's nuts.
Well,
and even the first 40, I mean, okay. Yeah, you're crazy. I think the first 40 minutes are show promise.
I think
I think they are in the assembly cut, pretty good.
I think legitimately excellent. Those first 40 minutes, I'm like, this is engrossing. This is riveting. I am fully in on this. This is awesome, right? And then after that, it's a slow downhill slide to Shitsville, and then we get a little like, a little sparkle at the end of like, hey, remember when this movie was good? But so like that is where I'm coming from with this, is like cards fully on the table. I loved the beginning of this movie. I thought it was great. And then a bunch of the problems started kind of rearing their heads after that point. But I fuck with Alien 3 kinda, and like I'm not gonna pretend like this movie deserves like accolades. The most that it deserves is people being like, that one's, you can go back and forth on it, but the people who like it, they like it for some legitimate reasons. Like, I think that's the most it deserves. And it's definitely still not the greatest movie ever made. Those first two Alien movies, both of which did get that title from us on this podcast, are legit 5-star masterpieces across the board, both of them. I think that this one has a masterpiece buried somewhere in it.
You can see the great movie threatening to come out.
Yes, and it is like so far from actually being there that this thing is really in a different league than the other two movies. Like, the other two movies are head and shoulders above this, but I do think there is a lot to like here, and there's some stuff that I even straight up like unabashedly loved in this movie. Which I was surprised by and pleased by. And also, the other thing that I want to kind of close my thoughts with is that I think this is actually a good end to a trilogy. I think that if there were no other Alien movies, and the only movies that existed, as is the case for me right now, because I haven't seen any of the other ones, right, are Alien 1, Aliens, and Alien 3. I think that's a good movie trilogy. I think it is a movie trilogy that tells one character's arc very well. It gives Ripley a whole journey from the first installment to the third installment. Her character has reached the end of her journey in 3. We've wrapped up this story. And I think that if you watch these 3 movies as a trilogy, it works. And they're all tonally and stylistically and genre different from each other, which is fun and cool.
Even with the theatrical cut?
Even with the theatrical cut.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of think it's like a satisfying third entry in a trilogy.
Okay, that's maybe insane.
And I'm happy with it.
I think maybe with the assembly cut, that works a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I didn't hate the theatrical cut. I thought it was all right.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad to me.
Yeah.
There's more bad than good in the theatrical cut to me.
Yeah.
And then I think there is just a little bit more good than bad in the assembly cut.
Yeah, I'm like a hair more good than bad in theatrical, and like a dollop more good than bad in assembly.
Mm.
Yeah. That's Alien 3.
That's Alien 3. Yeah. Definitely not a... It's not an Exorcist 3 or Halloween 3 situation where it's like actually great.
No, sadly.
It's like there's stuff here.
There's stuff
here.
And even my take, I liked it more. Even my take is like surprisingly good.
Yeah. It's your mileage may vary situation.
Sure. Yeah.
Boy, I am glad fuck. I wanted to say, by the way, for those wondering, the experience of watching both of these movies back to back was a little insane. But when I started settling into the assembly cut, I was like, despite this thing being 2 hours and 20 minutes, I feel like it moves a little bit better. I'm a little bit more invested.
It does move better than the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
Part of that is because the big, like, we're going to trap the alien in the toxic waste set piece is allowed to actually resolve. Yeah. Which I feel like the fact that they don't resolve that in the theatrical cut makes the pacing of it feel really weird.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
But despite the fact I stayed up till 11:30 and screwed up my sleep schedule to go do delivering the mail, which is more physical than one might expect. Watching both these movies back to back wasn't as agonizing as I thought it would be.
That's good.
Sorry, the Alien episodes are always long.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about with these movies.
Yeah.
And I'm a fucking nerd, crazy, passionate nerd about these things, and I watch all the special features all the time. and those are all 3 hours long too. So
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time with the xenomorph.
Right.
And Justus, I'm dying to know what we're watching next week. If you have thought about that at all, we have not prepped for this because that's haven't done that
how
recently.
Do things now
as our human resources director said, we've just been slacking off.
We have been slacking off. We have not been doing our job.
Please pick something that is not a sci-fi horror movie.
Okay. I have been trying to for no reason hold myself to a non-existent pattern, a barely existent pattern on this podcast of doing a David Lynch movie and then a Muppet movie when I should just pick what I want to do, which is a fucking Muppet movie. We don't need to do a Lynch movie first.
Okay.
We can just do a Muppet movie. I'm going to stop trying to figure out how to shoehorn this into the programming, and I'm just going to make you watch the Muppet movie.
The Muppet movie.
The first one. Directed by Jim Henson.
Imagine Jim Henson doing a xenomorph puppet.
Oh man, that would be pretty cool. Probably he did make some like gross, weird puppets.
Yeah.
For other movies, like some of the Labyrinth guys and like fucking
just
Dark Crystal and shit.
Jim Henson and H.R. Giger in a room together.
Yeah.
Making this thing.
So the Muppet movie. I said directed by Jim Henson. That is not
true. Great Muppet Caper was directed by him.
Yeah, it's directed by James Frawley. So that was incorrect. But yeah, the Muppet movie from 1979. The first one, they had the Muppet Show, and then they made the Muppet movie, and then the rest is history. And we're going to be talking about it and watching it next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You should be.
Do I not sound excited?
No, I'm just saying. You're in for a real treat. It's one of the best movies of all time.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening to this long episode about a divisive film. Please leave us a comment and maybe tell us your opinion on this movie or on our podcast. And you could do that in a review too.
Yes.
I'm really bad at this.
No, I think you're doing so good.
Our Instagram is TGMEM_podcast. You can send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Please recommend the show to your friends, to your family, to your work friends. If you're on a prison colony with some dudes who did some
all your
shit,
fucking rapist and murderer friends.
let them know and spread the word. And kiss, kiss. We love you. Take care of yourselves.
I hope our show would be big on Fury 161. All these guys sitting around in the canteen just listening to this.
Do they have movies? Like, what are they doing on Friday nights?
It seems like they don't even have, because the TV surveillance system doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're probably getting into a big circle and jacking off. I imagine that's what's going on.
Yeah. All right, the episode's over.
Yep.
We love you so much. Later dipshits.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Greatest Movie Ever Made. Please remember to leave us a rating and a review, and to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We appreciate you supporting the show and spreading the word. Tell your friends to listen. Tell your enemies to listen. Tell your mom to listen. If your neighbor has an unsecured Bluetooth speaker, connect to it and play an episode. You can follow us on social media at TGMEM_podcast. And if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.